You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast, number 95 with Radish Boy. Radish Boy, how you doing this fine afternoon?
I am doing fantastic, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great. And finally, we get you on the cast. I feel like we've been talking about this since March of like this year.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because you're like, hey, I'll probably hit you up in like June or July. And I was like, I was geeked. I like called my mom. She has no idea who you are. But I was like, Ma, like, I'm going to be on a podcast. And this guy's like, he like podcasts the super cool guys. And then like you never messaged me back, and I was like, "Oh God, am I not cool anymore?"
So, like real talk, I'm an extremely unorganized person.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I can't really say I'm extremely unorganized, but for my own good, I really should be more organized. And a lot of the time, I have this list that I've had since I'm talking 2021, like mid 2021 ish. I've had this list that's just been ever expanding of guests that have shown interest or guests that I want to have on that I haven't even asked. And it's just ever expanding. And there's just been a huge load of just names that I want to get through, including repeat guests as well. And so like,
have you already had one before?
Oh, I've had many repeat guests. I probably had maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
Or maybe more. I don't know. But basically, what I'm trying to say, and I'll keep this short, is like I have reached out to people and people have reached out to me, and I say all these things and I don't even have a calendar to put it on. So it's just like I'm trying to keep it in my head, and I'll write it down on some certain notepads and other places, and it just gets to be this scrambled jumble, and it's like the worst thing ever. And I just get this pit in my stomach when I realize months later that I've told somebody, and trust me, you are not the only person that has been suffering with this, of me saying, hey, I'll get you on the cast in a couple months, and then it's been like 6-7 months, maybe even over a year at this point. I'm like, oh geez.
Yeah. No, dude, it's totally understandable. I'm really, really chill, dude. So
yeah, no, and you obviously made me like feel a little bit more comfortable about it when I did reach out to you again. I'm like, dude, I really apologize. Like I'm getting through other guests and stuff. It's been a journey for myself. I'm trying to become more organized, and it has just been almost 2 years of the cast at this point. So going into year 3, I really want to like, start getting a bit more organized and get this a little bit more structured as well. So
yeah.
So, Radish Boy, who are you for those that don't know? If you'll have like, I don't know, maybe like a brief summary of what you do in the OSRS community and just who you are as a person.
Yeah. So if we just stick to the OSRS community aspect of things, I'm Radish Boy. I people just normally call me Radish. I do a lot of PVM-ish content. I love hardcore life. I know that you have a very strong opinion on hardcores, and I've heard it in many of your podcasts. Don't get cold feet. You can cut me down. I don't mind. But I know I play RuneScape like full time, but I've said this from day one of streams, is like my true desire in life is to be a motivational speaker. I just right now get the opportunity to do that while I'm playing, in my opinion, the greatest game ever created.
That's sick. That's beautifully said.
Thanks, man.
So at what point did you want to become a motivational speaker? Because I feel like, as most people, I feel like have certain ideas of who they want to be in life, and I feel like all of those kind of shift in a way. So has motivational speaker always been your sort of goal, or when did that kind of
I went through a very, very trying time when I was in my 20s. Like I don't know, like it's crazy. I don't know how deep to go, dude. But essentially I was like really heavy into drugs, and I was like literally how do you say this, like falsely imprisoned by a hospital where they like there was like a lawsuit, and they like lost the lawsuit. They like wouldn't let me go, and they did like a bunch of shit and like made me take medicine that I wasn't fucking, it really messed with my head. Anyway, after I like came through that portion of my life, it was the lowest and darkest I've ever been. I realized that like there was so much potential inside of me to like, if I was like, oh, if I can make it through that, I can make it through anything. And then when I started to like reach out and tell people my story, like growing up, and then I would also couple that with like being a musician. I for 6 years I played I played music professionally. I was a worship leader for churches. I would travel and stuff, and I loved it. I love that that aspect of life, but I've always had like an issue with like any organized religion. Plus, I also like saying like shit and fuck. And I don't think that's wrong. And if you think it's wrong, then you just fucking need to take a break. You know, like it's me. You know, I think like loving people is like really, really awesome. So I would like tell these like, and then I just like realized that all these people that I would come in contact with, like everybody has these like amazing attributes about themselves. And sometimes, most of the time, people's like biggest enemies in life is themselves. And my dad, who has been an officer, he was in law enforcement for 40 years. He always referred to himself as a public servant and never once referred to himself as a law enforcer. And I think my dad just like really, really modeled like humbleness. And always, literally, if you call him up at any time, see him in public, you ask him how he's doing, he says, I'm thankful. And it doesn't matter what he's going through. And so like, I've just had this like really incredible experience growing up. And so my dad, I just attribute to who, like, I'm the man I am today because of him. And I'm so thankful, to be like raised kind of like, you know, with my dad's mentality. And then I've kind of brought it a little bit more into 2022. Like my dad doesn't swear, doesn't drink. Like I enjoy beer. I say piss, you know, like, like stuff like that. And then I realized like, I want to like tap into people's like natural ability to be a leader. Like, I feel like we're all destined for greatness. But we get into the rut of things and just like enjoy the mundane. But you don't really start living until you can like really focus on like getting rid of that victim mentality and start becoming like a victor, and literally in anything, in any situation. And so, I've had the blessing of having a unique outlook on life, from what I've gone through. And I just want to encourage people to be like, dude, it's like literally the best way to live. I'm not wealthy. I'm not like, you know, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I think that my unique outlook on life can help people. And so, and then also like I said, and then I've just coupled that with doing RuneScape, and we've had some really awesome conversations in stream. And then most of the time, especially recently, we just like hardcore like degen RuneScape stuff. But eventually, you know, every once in a while we break into the little like real life category of things. Yeah. So
that's beautiful, man. Everything you just said right there is like really cool, because me personally in my life, what I have seen is, like, I know you said like the kind of the victim mentality. I've never really attributed that exactly to me, but I have seen little bits of it. Sort of like, sure, I've seen myself as a certain person and I can't ever break free from that. Like, this is who I am. But then I've had experiences in my life, especially recently, of like, no, that doesn't need to be who I am. I am a constantly changing human. You know, I can really decide for myself who I want to be and what I want to get involved with and who I want to be around. And
dude, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I consider it like living on like a certain like wavelength or frequency. Like if you were like a radio tower, you know, like radio towers can only pick up certain frequencies, or whatever frequency they're on. That's the signals that they'll receive. And so I just think, you know how like if you wake up in the morning, you stub your toe, if you just like focus on that, we're like, oh, now it's going to be a shit day because I stubbed my toe. And then you're late to work and you're like, oh, it's probably because today's a shit day. And so then you just like get that in, like you're sending that message out to the universe. And then it's just like, it's sending it back, you know, like get yourself on a different frequency, you know? And so like that, anytime I just hear people constantly complaining, I'm just like, bro, you're doing this to yourself and you have no idea, man. Like the amount of potential that lives inside of you, like stop drowning it, you know, in your own pain. And so I try it, but sometimes, a lot of the times people get offended by stuff like that. So I try to caution and I try to be respectful in pretty much all aspects of life that I can be. So
Yeah, it's really tough because there really is no truly convincing anybody of anything. Everybody's on their
right.
own
Oh
path.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
it
man.
really does suck because if you do see somebody that's really following your footsteps that led you down a horrible path in your 20s potentially, like when you see
Yeah.
somebody going down that you want to help, but there really is just no helping besides just loving them really, and they have to find their
Yeah,
own
dude.
course.
Yeah, I got some really solid guidance, and this RuneScape Reddit would hate me for this, but and really just anybody on the internet, there's something I learned from a wise man once that was kind of like a life mentor of mine, and he said, when you see those stupid posts on Facebook or stupid posts on whatever social media site where you think whatever they put out there was dumb, you have to ask yourself, are you looking to make a point or are you looking to make a difference? Because are you going to make a difference by looking at somebody's post and commenting and saying, this is a shit post and you're a shit individual? Is anybody going to really go, I am a shit individual. Like, you're going to make a difference in my life? No, you're making a point. You're not going to do anything. And it's just going to start an argument. And a lot of people get like, just bent out of shape over shit like that. So I caution myself with most of the shit that I post or respond to anybody. I just think like, is there any sustenance in this? Every once in a while, it's hard for me to hold back when I get like some trolls that are talking shit to my friends. But most of the time I'd like to say like, am I going to make a point or a difference? And I would rather make a difference.
That's
So I'm just
cool.
going to stay positive,
Yeah, I've had those moments. I know this is a little bit different than the point you were making, but just this sense of maybe wanting to say something or replying to a thread on Twitter or wanting to kind of like, I don't know, yell your opinion or yell your thoughts out. And then
Oh yeah. Yeah.
if you can resist it in the moment, an hour later, you'll realize like, oh my God, thank God I didn't post that. Or like,
Totally.
I'm so
Totally, dude.
glad like that's not on the
Totally.
internet right now.
Dude, yeah, I was even saying like today, every once in a while I have like these crazy ideas of what I'd love to see in RuneScape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday I had an idea and it took me like 30 minutes. I put together like a little PDF or a PNG file and I threw it up on Reddit and I threw it up on Twitter and so many people got offended. And I was like, bro, this is like a 30-minute thought, man. Like I didn't invest my life in this. It was literally just called like a new game mode called Insanity, where you're just a main player. You're not at hardcore. You're just a main character, but you have all the tendencies of a hardcore but if you die, like your entire account's reset. Like you lose all your items, you lose all your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there'd be like item sinks built in naturally and and just like that, I was like, ooh, that'd be kind of crazy to watch. Like that'd be a cool little series or whatever it was. So I threw something together. There's a lot of comments on it, but people are like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. You need to delete this. And I'm like, bro, it'll be okay, man. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I feel like most of that comes from Reddit. I feel like there's like this certain group of individuals that just refresh the new posts on the 2007 scape and they just like bombard like posts.
I got my shit kicking boots on today. Let's go. Like,
now, trust me, I've gone through my fair few posts on Reddit where I'll like
sure.
share. And by the way, I gotta say, I used to post on Reddit of some of my ideas before I ever started making rambles and even really being a content creator in general. And now it's really nice to have my own little safe space on my YouTube channel. If people have a problem with it, they don't need to watch it. It's not like I'm posting. Well, I guess I technically am posting to a public forum, which is YouTube, but like it is my own little channel where it's like not everyone needs to see this. But
most of the time, like the negatives drowned out by the positive comments of your community.
Yeah. And the other thing is what's cool is you can kind of curate who is your audience, because what you want is good criticism and good feedback and stuff, because I'm not claiming to have all the best fucking ideas. I'm literally
totally.
I'm spewing stuff to create creativity. Like I want this game to expand. I want this game to just be like the best it can be, which a lot of people have their own ideas. I have my own. I share them. I take feedback. I try to take feedback gracefully. It's very tough sometimes. But the last thing you want is some guy just saying, you're stupid, I hate you, all your ideas suck. Because then at that point, I have my own little platform where I'll just hide them from the comments. And now they're basically shadow banned. So there's probably a bunch of people I have on my YouTube that's just like commenting that nobody can see, which is just a beautiful thought. But yeah, it really comes down to just people being actually angry and like hateful and spiteful toward people rather than just giving critiques on the idea. So
yeah. There was I just always like if I'm ever in a debate with somebody about like something, if I wanted a game mode or if I wanted any sort of RuneScape idea, like when I was working like for like a corporation, one thing that one of my bosses had said was like, if you don't like one of the ideas, you are not allowed to say that you don't like it, and that's it. You have to have your own input. So if you're like, this is a stupid idea, but this is what I think is better, like that's welcomed. But if you can't just be like, you just can't be a shitter.
Yeah.
Like you can't just shit on something just to shit on it. Like you have to have viable information to like back up why you think it's dumb. And I've always like thought like that's brilliant. I love it because then it removes the fact that like, nope, that's dumb. Like this is a stupid idea.
Yeah, you see it on Twitter, JMods posting their art, and you get the same shit where people on the internet, and we got to keep in mind, this is Twitter and Reddit and stuff, like people will just be angry. There are angry people on the internet that are free to post whatever they want. So it really does suck when people just get extremely hateful towards something and inevitably like make it personal. But yeah, it's definitely a good way to go about it. Yeah.
Right. I think it's the blessing and curse of anonymity. If somebody can hide behind it, like, well, today I'm not Radish Boy. Today I'm, Hung Solo 49. And like, it doesn't matter. Like I can say anything I want to now. And like, that's just the way it is. You can just like disappear, you can say whatever you want to, and then you have no repercussion of it. So, But I would say I like to think that most of the time all my interactions are pretty positive. And if you keep your circle of positive people, like with you can with your stream, if you get somebody in there that's like constantly being negative and stuff, you're just like, see you later, dude. And then like you remove that negativity from your stream and like that desire, like you were saying with the whole shadow ban thing, like I wish there's a couple things that I wish Twitch would do. I wish that if you ban somebody from your content, they're not allowed to watch either. Like, cause that's something, dude. I've had a couple people I've banned, and then I was receiving like private messages from them, just like commenting like they're in the chat still. And I'm like, homie, bro.
So gross.
I banned you for a reason.
Yeah, I'm glad they've at least removed the chat aspect, because watching a stream without the chat can like definitely take away the vibe from it. But yeah, it really should just be like when you're banned, like you're just cleared from it, like you're kicked out.
Yeah.
Or there should at least be an option for it. Because sometimes it is kind of cool to just like, if somebody takes it too far and they start messaging you even after they're banned, that's something different. You just block them after that. But they're still counting as a viewer toward your thing. It's just kind of like a cool thing to think like I banned them and they're still like they still want to be here. Like, dear God, that's weird.
I'm just too cool.
So when did you start streaming, and how has the whole like content creation phase been for you? I mean, you are
dude, it's for me, it's been like the greatest experience of my life. I started streaming. I distinctly remember there was a moment. So this was probably 3 years ago. My wife, we had just my son Bear at the time. And then she has a daughter like prior to our marriage, who's much older than Bear. But I don't remember. It was like during the thick of COVID, and I was let go from one of my jobs because of like COVID stuff, right? And I told my wife, I said, I think I want to, like, before I just go and apply for jobs, I want to get like 2 weeks, just kind of like chill at home, help with, Bear. He's really young at the time. And I think I want to like create some content for this game I play called RuneScape. And she's like, yeah, babe, whatever you want to do. so I had an idea to make a one pet at a time like guy, and where like I would just do one skill, and then I could only do that skill until I got the pet, and then I would unlock other skills like incrementally. So there I split all the skills into pet skills and non-pet skills. So like obviously fishing is a pet related skill. Cooking is not a pet related skill. And so like my first thing I unlocked was like fishing and cooking. I wasn't allowed to get any sort of levels in anything else other than just fishing and cooking. Now doing that, I'd made like a couple videos about it, and then I started like working again, right? So like the weeks had passed and I made like one video and I put it on this like Facebook post called or this Facebook group when I had a Facebook, and it was called OSRS in inappropriate places, which I don't think is any longer a RuneScape, like I don't think it's a Facebook thing anymore. I don't know. It has been forever since I've been on Facebook. But it like, in my opinion at the time, it went like viral, right? Because I got like 600 subscribers like overnight to my YouTube channel. And I was like freaking out. I was like, this is so freaking cool. Like a lot of people liked the idea. They're like, this sounds miserable. Like it's going to take you forever. Oh, and it was also a hardcore Iron Man. So like the account that I played for a long time called The Pet Guy, that was the start of The Pet Guy. And then what I did is I just like, I like statistics, and I kept track of like everything. And so I made another video called like 25 million experience at the fishing guild. And it was literally just like, what do you get in 25 million XP just harpooning sharks? And also keeping track of literally every single random event. And I had it all documented. It's on YouTube. It's got like 7 views. But then like Rendy saw my original video. And he was like, dude, I like this idea, but like, I feel like it'd be hard to find content, blah, 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 blah. Well, I didn't know who he was at the time, but a year later. Okay. So like that was a year later. I come back and I realized that Rendy commented, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe Rendy commented on this. This is so cool. And so then like I started chatting with him again, and I had another idea at the time. So this is literally like, there was like a month of time where I tried to make content, and then everything stopped because I had to start like working again. And fast forward to my like the next idea about a year later. I had this idea where I wanted to hook up this little like switchboard thing, and I made like food objects like pressure sensitive, and then I would program each individual object I was touching to be a different input into my screen. And I made a video called Banana Only, and I killed demonic gorillas using bananas like as my controllers. And I thought at the time, I was like, this is my freaking, the pinnacle of my career. This is like video number 4. And I was like, this is so good. I put a lot of time into it. It was really expensive actually too, like a couple $100 to get all this stuff. And I pieced together this video, and I edited it and tried to make it as fun as possible. I also wore a monkey head. And after I made the video, I told my wife, I was like, babe, I think I've heard of this website called Twitch. I think I want to go, and this is super cringy now to think about it, but I had no idea about the culture of Twitch at all. And so I was like, I think I want to go onto Twitch and like maybe pay some streamers to like watch my videos, like advertisement, which now I realize like if people do that, it's like not the move. Don't fucking do that. If you're listening and you think, oh, Radish, that's a fucking good idea. It's not a good idea. It's super cringy. Nobody likes it. So I did that. And I was surprised by the turnout. Like there was some people, Otoblock had like a really good reaction to it. Mr. Mammal had a really good reaction to it. And then, but where I found a lot of my like time to money ratio, if you look at it like from an advertisement perspective, was the smaller streamers. And there was a girl named Vivisk who, she was like blown away. She's from Brazil and she's just the most loveliest person. And then she just like was like, you need to stream this. Like, this is amazing. You need to make this happen. And so I thought about it for a while. I was just in and out of her chats. Like, I hung a lot around her. And then I met this girl named Katarina, who's like another amazing individual. And then one day I decided, like, I told my wife, I said, hey babe, I think I'm going to try this live streaming thing, but I got to one up the bananas. And so I decided to do, I hooked up a bunch of hot dogs and I made my first ever stream title is Killing Serb with My Wiener.
Oh my God.
And I got a serve task and I went and killed like a hot dog with hot dogs. And I just like did it. I just like went live and there's nobody there and I'm having a ball, dude. I'm like, like super excited. Like, it was so fun to me. But then like one viewer came in and his name was Afro Senbo. I'll never forget my first original viewer. He's VIP'd to this day. And then I remember getting a raid from Vivisk like 3 hours into my stream. I was doing all this hot dog stuff and it was really, really fun. And I was like, this is a totally different experience than what I expected to just like play a video game and have people watch you. Mm-hmm. Well, that night, Behemoth got a hold of me. And I'm fully aware who Behemoth is at this time, but he intros super humbly. He's like, hi, my name's Behe, and I've got like a YouTube channel, and I was wondering if I could like get your clips. And I was like, shut your mouth. Literally, you can have anything you want, man. Like, and then like my first ever stream was on Behe, and I was super pumped. But then Behe said something to me that like created a lot of anxiety. And he's like, dude, this is like so unique. I've never seen this before. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have planned next. And I was like, planned next? I didn't think about like another stream. I just had one planned, man. Like, what do you mean? So then like I was going over some stuff and I didn't know what I wanted to do for my next stream. So I hung fried chicken from my ceiling and killed Kriara by using like chicken. Like every single time I touched a chicken, it would either press a button on my computer or it would move my mouse for me, either on like the X and Y coordinate. And then that one made Behemoth too. And then I was like hooked. I was instantly hooked. But I've gotten away from doing that because there's a lot of prep that goes into it. It's really expensive. Yeah. But I think a lot of people have mentioned it, and I even saw it on one of the Twitter things. I think it was Hampshire, had said like, hey, when I first met you, you were killing stuff with food. Like, do you ever plan on doing that again? I think it'd be fun to do something, but we'd have to really go big. We've done a lot of stuff. I killed, Bodhi told me to kill Kraken, so I used squid to kill Kraken. Like, I bought raw octopus from the store. That was my most expensive video and, or my most expensive stream. Like the octopus was like $80 and I had 2 of them. And I killed Kraken, which was super lame. Cause like you just sit there. I mean, it's like not a hard boss to kill, you know?
So how does it transfer from this very original, unique idea into more of a normal stream approach where it's more consistent and everything like that? Like, what was your thought process? Did you think, because you have started, and I want to also just say, I've seen this happen before where somebody starts streaming with some crazy content that really can't be upkept consistently. Yeah. And I feel like that can like potentially weigh on the content creator and be like, I have to one up this. I have to go harder. And if I don't, then my channel is going to die slowly because people expect more and more. So what was that for you like?
For me, naturally, I think this about just really much every aspect in life, but like eventually the truth will come out, and I'm not the kind of person to do crazy stuff all the time, right? And so eventually I'm going to want to just play RuneScape and talk and get to know people. And so then like I don't know. I just my personality is like I would rather have like meaningful conversations. I'm not a huge fan of like well, how's the weather today? Like that shit. Like that's not my thing. So like but also I'm like extremely passionate about RuneScape. RuneScape is like one of the only games I've ever played. And I would say this World of Warcraft and Hearthstone are the only maybe a little bit of League of Legends, but like I used to like almost rotate through the games, but RuneScape has always and will always be like my number one true love.
Okay.
Because dude, I've played RuneScape since, and I don't know if this is factual or not, and I'd love to have a game mod tell me if this is even possible, but I've played RuneScape like from before they even were counting how old your accounts are, because I have two accounts that are from like maybe February 21 or February 2001.
Jesus.
And I'm 1000% certain that my first ever original account, which was Darkmaster 72, because I was like an edgy 11-year-old kid, 10 technically at the time, but it says that it's the same age as Radish Boy, but I know that's not true. And then when I look at it, it says that I created my accounts a year after I know I started playing. So I'm assuming there's like a time in history, in RuneScape history, where they started to like track account age.
Yeah, that
and my
must be
accounts,
how it works.
Yeah, and my accounts are just older than that.
So they started
yeah.
counting them, what, 2002, you imagine?
I would imagine, to be exact, like I would know the exact date. It would be like, but I don't know if I can say that. People say if you tell your account age, like it compromises your account.
That's crazy though to think it's been over 20 years.
Yeah, I have legitimately a date in my phone where I'm like, so if you're American, you know like you can't drink until you're 21. I have an alert on my phone set for the day that my account turns 21, and I'm gonna have a drinking stream with my original account, Darkmaster 72. And we're gonna go to all the bars and pubs, and we're gonna buy all the beer, and I'll be
That's
like one of the
awesome.
first people to ever legally drink on like. I guarantee you, I don't know if there's anybody that's still been playing around as long as I have, but. Like one of my friends that got me into the game, he is on the snapshot of the original 2000 characters.
Wow.
So yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's back in the day. Like it's crazy. And I've literally played. I've always thought everything. I mean, I remember sleeping bags. I remember like just the weirdest shit, dude. But yeah, there's a lot of history here.
It's cool to know that this game really has thrived throughout it all. I know there's obviously been crazy things that have happened at Jagex. I mean, I watched I think it was like the 15-year documentary or whatever of RuneScape. That scene where it shows, the Gower brothers, Andrew Gower especially, leaving Jagex at that time to basically have it taken over by another CEO and stuff. I just felt like that was like a dark day for Jagex. Just like the original creator, the original bright mind is now like leaving it up to other people. And even though people can do amazing things, and we do have an amazing game even without the Gowers, it was just. There was there's been some crazy experiences at Jagex and RuneScape in general, but it's cool to know that we still have a game that's so familiar that can bring us back to like those good old days. Because I started playing in 2004, and I mean, this game still brings me back so much nostalgia.
Dude, yeah, man.
It's amazing.
Can you tell me what is your earliest memory of RuneScape?
Trying to think. So when I first started playing RuneScape, I got introduced by a kid in 4th grade, and he found it on Miniclip. And I remember really being interested in computer games at the time because my family just got a home computer. I must have been like maybe a year prior to that. And it was a piece of shit. Yeah. It was totally crappy.
Of course.
And it was a big boob tube monitor, just that massive
the
thing
CRTs,
that weighs like,
dude.
just huge. And like, when like your mom had to make a telephone call or something, it would just completely break the internet. And so,
Ma, get off the phone!
I would have to. I was such a I don't know. This was kind of messed up, but I would snag the home phones. We had 2 different home phones. Whenever I was to play RuneScape after school, I would grab the 2 home phones, and whenever anybody would call, I would just instantly hang it up. I'd literally have my phone, I'd have my hand resting on the end call button, just so that when any call happens, I just insta end it and I can continue playing my game, which was totally messed up because back then, like, you had to take calls, you know?
No, wait, you're the founder of EHP, bro. Like, this is not efficient. Hours played, okay?
Absolutely not. But I will say, one of my first ever memories, I think that's something that's mostly ingrained in me, because obviously there were memories prior to this, but something that really stuck with me was killing thieves behind the Varrock rune store, Aubrey's little rune store in that little, like, just the slums of Varrock.
Oh, like the muggers?
Yep, the mugger. No, but they were specifically the level 16 thieves, because I would kill the men, I would kill the muggers, you know, I'd kill all those people. And then I was like level 30 or something, and I didn't even know how to train strength, so I was still hitting like ones. But my attack was pretty high. But I was like, dude, I need to get enough hit points because I want to be able to kill a thief without eating any food and just being able to kill him, because like that'll prove to me that I've like gotten some serious gains on my account. Anyway, so that's really my first memory of it. And it was glorious. And then from there on,
that's awesome, man.
I don't know. It just good days. What about you though? First ever memories.
For me, I remember when they introduced Runite armor, every
is this classic, or is this?
Oh yeah, dude. Okay. This is my earliest memory of RuneScape.
Okay.
Ever. Maybe, I don't know. I remember there's a couple things that I think I remember, but I don't know, because if you've ever taken psych classes, that you like your brain can just like make shit up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if these are real memories or not, but I do remember like the first time I made an account, I chose to be a miner or a blacksmith. I think is what I chose. Like it was an actual in-game option you could choose. And then there was PvP everywhere. So you'd like walk out of Lumbridge and you just get like shit on. But so after the PvP thing was removed, I think, there was, at least in my extremely limited 11-year-old mind, there was no place in the game at all to buy black armor. And so you only could get it from drops. And I had a black medium helmet. And I remember like 2 or 3 people in game were like, yo, where did you get that? Like people thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. And I don't even remember. I think it was like I don't even remember where I got it. Maybe there was if the guys in the wilderness were there at the time, I don't remember. Like, but what I do remember is like such this authentic interaction between 2 total strangers. I'm walking into Falador and a guy comes up to me and he says, yo, I'll trade you my rune mace for your black medium helmet. And I thought, oh, rune? Like, I'm going to be the first, like, in my friend group to own rune. And I'm like, absolutely. So I traded this guy. And, like, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Like,
you just get it from the GE, you know, if you want anything. But to see somebody with an item that you want, and you're like, I want that, and I have this. And it was so, like, I remember I was geeking. All my friends thought, like, oh, dude, you're so strong now. Like, we didn't know anything about anything. And so, like, I had my rune mace, and I was like, let's go, dude. Like, it was so cool, dude. That was, like, my thing, man.
That's incredible.
That's, like, yeah, at the gates of Falador.
Dude,
memories were made.
I just miss that mysterious feel of RuneScape where you're just walking around and you don't know what items are. I remember the first time I got scammed, I bawled my eyes out.
Bro, yeah.
Like I thought spinach rolls were worth 100K. Actually, I thought they were worth 200K. And they kind of were, to be honest. You just had to find the right person and say, like, these are worth this much. Because I feel like there was a general consensus that spinach rolls were worth this much. And muddy keys were worth like $500,000 randomly. And again, this might just be my really young 9-year-old brain that would just thought it was. Because I would just hang around a bunch of scammers because I thought they were like genuine people. But like, I remember losing my first ever 100K. And 100K
dude,
took
back in the
like
day.
a month. Like, that was a month worth of just hardcore grinding an hour a day. And, losing that, and I got a spinach roll for it. And
bro.
it was just horrible because people were just like, dude, that's not worth anything. Because I would try to sell it for I sold it for 100K, and I was gonna flip it basically for 200K. And
okay,
it just never happened.
That
I could
spinach
never
roll
sell
flip,
it.
dude.
I didn't have the manipulative prowess to like manipulate
Sure.
somebody else into buying it. So I just basically sobbed all night, and I just had my little spinach roll. But yeah, fuck me.
So with playing RuneScape as long as I have, obviously there's like what I like is there's kind of like this lineage of like growing up as like an adult or as a young kid and then growing up into an adult, like, and playing RuneScape for as long as I have. Like, there's so many memories I have on there. I remember I have one distinct memory of when I scammed somebody. I remember I used to bot back in the day. Radish Boy was permanently banned when I was like 16 years old for botting. And I just like quit playing RuneScape. And then one day I just tried to get back on and I just logged on and I was like, huh? Like, what the heck? And then I just like swore to never bot again. And this is like maybe a couple years later. Well, and this might be wrong again. This might just be a false memory, but I guess there was like some breach in some sort of like account security and they just literally unban all the banned accounts.
That's so crazy.
And then like I just got Radish Boy back, and I try to think now, like, where would I be if Radish Boy was still banned? Like, would I have ever gone back to RuneScape, or would I be known as like Darkmaster72 because I still had that account? But this sounds like super super unbelievable, but it really did happen. I remember I was at the Varrock West Bank, and this is I don't even know. I might have been 15, 16 years old. So 2005, 2006, maybe 2007 area. I'm playing on Radish Boy's account and, like on the account Radish Boy is what I mean. And this guy comes up to me out of nowhere and says, yo, dude, do you go to, I literally don't remember, but do you go to X and Y, high school? And I thought in my manipulative teenage mind, he thinks he knows me. So I'm going to play along. And I'm like, yeah, how do you know me? That's creepy. And he's like, bro, I'm Steve. I don't know his name, but he's like, I'm so-and-so. I didn't know you played RuneScape. So obviously whoever he thought I was went by some nickname of Radish or something. I don't know why, but I shit you not. I was like, bro, that's sweet. I'll see you at school tomorrow. Any chance I can borrow your Mystic? And he lent me his Mystic gear and I fucking dipped out. And so like,
God.
if you're listening, if you're hearing it, sir, I'm sorry. I scammed you. I owe you full Mystic.
It's so messed up because it's like we're children, at the game, like back then. And I remember distinctly trying to take advantage. I just didn't have the manipulative prowess to be able to scam somebody. So I was always the one getting scammed. But I'd always think of like, ooh, like I want to get back at them, Yeah, and it wasn't ever really out of. I mean, it clearly was like a manipulative thing to even think like this is my plan. Like I want to scam somebody else.
Yeah.
But when you're a child and all you've ever experienced is you getting taken advantage of by other kids online, like you feel like you need to get back somehow. And it's like the only way to like mentally recover from just getting scammed.
Yeah. And like I've never, ever in my like RuneScape career like ever planned to scam somebody, but in that one instance it presented itself and I was like, this is my opportunity,
dude. I gotta say, I just had a great idea for like a poll on YouTube, like those little community posts you can do. I want to ask one, like, how many people have been permanently banned on this game from something? Because I swear it's got to be over half the people that currently play. Like at least half of the players have been permanently banned at some point on an account. Like,
yeah. And I honestly think it's a little sus if anybody says they're like veterans of like 15 plus and they've never done anything sketchy. And I'm like, bro, did you even play RuneScape?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean, you
know what I mean?
You got to know, like, there have to be that select few that just haven't or never got caught. That's the other thing. Like, people maybe have done little things but just never got caught.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100% over half. I would even maybe say over like 70% have had some
man, you make dumb mistakes and then you learn from it, So it's a great. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stuff in RuneScape that's kind of like shaped the way I am as a human being to this day because it's so, I'm so into it. I'm so like, it was like my life as a kid. It was all the entertainment I ever wanted.
Yep.
I didn't want to do anything else. I wanted RuneScape and that was it. And then like as an adult, I just figured out how to like appropriately associate it with like my daily activities until I was able to do it full time. So
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
So here's a topic by RS Bread on Twitter. He asks a few questions. We've already kind of covered the second one, but one of them is origin of your username and do you eat radishes?
Oh God. Okay, so let's answer the do I eat radishes. I do eat radishes every once in a while. I used to make like sushi as like a side job. I tried to make like really bougie sushi for like people in my hometown because it's like something that we don't have. So I have like a certificate for like fish handling fish and like sushi preparation and stuff.
That's cool.
It's like a fun little what do they call this? Like a little party favor, like people are like, you make sushi? Like it's just, yeah, I do. It's kind of weird. So in sushi making, there's a lot of like daikon radishes that are used and stuff, and it's kind of a citrusy stuff. So I do every once in a while eat radishes. However, the origin of the name Radish Boy is very simple. I had Darkmaster72 was my original account, and a friend of mine like had his account scammed or something, and I said, hey, I'll just make a new account. I don't care, and you can have Darkmaster. And so in my 11-year-old brain at the time, I thought to myself, it's either between Radish Boy or Lettuce Lad. And I went with Radish Boy.
Why? Why those two?
I'm 11 years old. Don't ask questions. I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea. And the fact that like even 20 years later, I think, let's just go with let's go with the OG account. Let's not try and remake. It doesn't, for some reason, I feel like this is like, and then it's just become like my identity now. It's so strange to think that you can do something as an 11-year-old that would play into you as an adult
and have
remarkable.
no idea about it at the time that it would.
Oh my gosh, no. And now I feel more comfortable people referring to me as Radish than I do my original name, because like I talk to so many more people online, and it's just become like an acceptable nickname.
Oh yeah, it's actually strange for me. So like my real life name is Sater, and which is why I kind of like Twitch. There's a long story behind like the whole name change on Twitch. It used to be Sae Bae, but
yeah,
most people just call me Sae Bae. And now it's weird because I do spend so much time online, and those like I've really made close connections to people online that just know me as Sae Bae, and they call me Sae Bae. So when I hear Sater now, it's like that feels like my secondary name, and Sae Bae actually feels like my real name now. It's a strange concept, yeah.
Yeah, totally. But that's it. I mean, there's not like that's it, man. I mean, when you get a 20-year-old account, man, like I wasn't the smartest young kid, and that's just what it was.
Yeah. Okay, you had briefly mentioned Hamster was talking about your food streams, but he also has a second question, and that is, how does it feel to have the second best beard in the OSRS category on Twitch?
Look, this guy has been ragging me for we have a mutual agreement. He is. I love the guy, honestly. He's so like he's funny and he's a good-looking dude. He's got a beard, second-class beard.
He's got great emotes too, by the way. He's got
he
like
does
those
have some
I don't know if you've seen
ones,
Ham Jam. Ham Jam's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's dude, I love it. He's giving me shit all the time. And it's only because, and I might give him first place now, but it's only because I had an Inferno, like my first ever time in the Inferno, I was like, I'm pretty sure I could do this in like 5 days. So I just like full sent it, and like there was a bunch of like people betting stuff, and I put my beard on the line, saying like if I don't like start and finish the Inferno in 5 days, like I'll shave my beard, down to the face, and I haven't done that since I was like 18, and I obviously don't have my Infernal cape, and then I had to restart my beard. It was glorious, but we're getting back that glory day by day.
So would you agree with Hamster's statement of you having the second best beard? And if you disagree, who does on Twitch have the first or second or third best beard? It's only respectably,
It's only between him and I. I mean, really, I mean, it's you're either first or you're last. You know what I'm saying? But I would say, I'm gonna give him a tie. Him and I are a tie, and then
Okay.
I wouldn't even
Package
know.
deal.
Yeah, I would love. You know who I'd love to see have a beard?
Who?
Tasty, because he's got like a power stash.
Yeah,
Like
power stash. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like maybe like a thinner Magnum PI. I don't know if you know who that is or if I'm showing my age, but like a full beard, I think he would look like a really good lumberjack.
Yeah.
I think so.
I wonder if he's able to. I know like some people get really patchy
don't know.
beards. But
That's
what
true.
that was like phenomenal language. Power stash. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. It's something like, it's not going to mess you up when you're eating like chicken wings.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. Damn.
Yeah, dude. It's and when you say, I wonder if he has the ability to, I don't know. Cause I don't think a razor's ever touched his chin, to be fair. I've seen that man in close proximity. And I look and I was like, I don't think he.
Or maybe he's just very, very clean, and he really just gets down to the very.
That's
little
probably true.
Every morning.
It's probably true. He smells amazing in real life, so I'd imagine he bathes frequently.
Yeah. I would say Bodhi has one of the best beards.
Oh yeah,
and the reason is because you don't often see. Okay, well I take this back somewhat, but you don't often see a full ginger having an exceptional beard. They usually will have a beard, but it's usually a little scruffy and a little patchy. But his is just like full all the way through. And if you ever saw that, whatever his beard oil is, I'm losing. Oh fuck, I'm forgetting it. Kafune. That's it. That's it. You see it on there. It's just flawless. Obviously, like great lighting and stuff. But
I would say there's a buddy of mine back in the day. We referred to like the shit that's like it's a guarantee. We call it Bible sales. And the reason we do that is because like every year the number one selling book is always the Christian Bible. So they don't even refer to it anymore. And so like number one book sales will just be like technically number two. Because like that's just it's just the way it is. So like when you say Bodhi, like to me that's Bible sales. That's a given. Okay. Yeah, obviously, you know what I mean. Like
that's fair.
The dude's like he's like king status, man. I respect him so freaking much. I freaking love that man. Yeah. He is like one of the kindest, like most amazing people. Meeting him at TwitchCon was like it was so humbling. And like, just seeing him and like, I don't know, I would see him and Jess and they really gave off that like they're like king queen status. It was just like, it was really cool, dude. It was really cool.
Yeah. They're awesome. I gotta say, close runner up, very close. In fact, is Autumn Elegy or Caleb. He's been in the community for a long time. I don't know if you know his full like.
I know Autumn Elegy, but I do not know what he looks like.
So he
used to make videos I watched back in the day.
So he used to be very, very very light. I mean, he just didn't really eat as much. I mean, he was very addicted to the game. And then like years back, he got really into fitness. And on his like fitness journey, he got like jacked, And
oh, sweet.
But he has like certain pictures where his facial hair, and I've seen it, on his stream as well. It's just flawless. It's just immaculate, It's just his facial hair genes are just on fucking point. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
dude, yeah,
perfectly
awesome.
full cheeks, perfectly full, like under the lip. You know what I mean? Like I'm envious of it. My cheeks don't fill in quite as much as I would like to. They do over time, but it's like, man, that first 4 months is a grind getting to that point.
Yeah, dude, I get it.
Had to give a shout out where it's
sure.
It's appropriate.
So wait, he streams? I want to know because like
he streams. Well,
under Autumn Elegy?
Yeah, I believe it's just Autumn Elegy without a space, or maybe it was with an underscore. I can't remember.
Dude, I remember. Wasn't he a part of like the really efficient high level community?
Yeah, he was a part of the Hexus clan, which was that had like rank 1 and that had like all the top ranks in the game at the time in the early days.
Yeah. Dude, I remember because I remember watching him. I think it was something like he was like every video I would watch of his, he was like always doing like lava rune crafting for like 200 mil, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, yeah, you're
I'm
right.
pretty sure. Yeah, dude. Okay.
He
And I
never
totally,
got 200. He never got 200 mil rune crafting. He stopped just above 100 mil, or maybe a little bit past that. I can't really remember. But he kind of gave up on his main. He was a huge skiller. He secured rank 3 mining at 200 mil. And that was what I feel like that
How
was the
cool
skill
is
he was
that,
known
dude?
for most, is his mining grind. He spent 6 months just nonstop on stream, just basically mining.
wow. Wow.
But now he's kind of quit his main. He AFKs it here and there. I feel like he's kind of gets that urge to play it, but he's been really focused on his UIM free to play, which has never had members, and he does the most crazy grinds. And yeah,
Dude, that sounds miserable.
but the thing is, he really likes.
As a viewer, it sounds fantastic.
He loves that classic grind that's not going to get I mean, every play style eventually gets devalued, but he likes a play style and a game mode that will not see a ton of XP rate increases. He likes the stable grind. He likes just seeing number go up, and I
Interesting.
think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it
that's
personally, but
impressive.
like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know about the UIM thing. I don't know. I've got a couple ideas with the UIMs, but for me, it would all have to be like snowflake status.
Yeah, yep. I agree. I feel like UIM really does become the most beautiful when you do have a simplistic game mode. For example, I personally would enjoy free-to-play UIM more than I would members UIM, I think. Mainly because main UIM, there is so much you have to think about. So much planning, and just insane amounts of planning if you want to be efficient and you really want to take your gameplay to the next level. Just like become a maxed UIM with all these fucking items. There's so many things you have to do. But with free to play, it's like, dude, just skill. Just get to this level, and you can move on. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. I remember if and I don't know if you're the one who normally like goes through the Twitter stuff, but I do remember seeing Potato. I think Potato asked something about a UIM. Something.
Let's see it.
On the
if you have it, you can go for it.
I don't have it in my brain. I think she just asked if I have a UIM or would I ever play one.
Oh yeah. Okay, so she's asking I'll just read it right here.
Yeah.
Would you ever play a UIM? Group HC Iron Man was super fun. Would he ever want to do it again?
I don't know. I forgot about the group hardcore one. The group hardcore question. So UIM, would I ever play one? Yes. I have a UIM that's like super low key. And I was starting a YouTube series, a underground YouTube series. I have a buddy that's like a voice actor, and when the HD old school RuneScape came out, I was playing. I had an idea to play a UIM that was locked to the wilderness and Edgeville. Like, so anything in Edgeville and then the wilderness is like where I'm allowed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the UIM's name is Wilderness. And so, which is obviously extremely unique. Now I haven't played it yet, but I've gotten it ready to be played. So like I did the like first couple Slayer tasks in order to talk to Cristelia. I did the herb lore, and then it's like there in Edgeville whenever I want to start.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe if there was some sort of desire from like my community to watch like Wilderness Wednesdays, that's what I would want to do. I wouldn't know what the goal would be. Maybe like full Dagon High or something.
Ooh.
But something that if I were to play a UAM, I think something that I would be very, very strict on is like my inventory is my inventory, and that's it. No, maybe the looting bag, because I'm obviously in the wilderness a lot, but like I don't really like the idea of like dropping stuff. Like Molly Music, who's a great friend of mine, I like when she has to like reset her account for like the Fremnik trials, she just like doesn't do death storage. She's just like, I'll see you later items, and just like yeets them.
Sheesh.
And I there's a beauty about the cleanliness of that that I really like. Because that's how I like clean my office. I'm just like, I don't know what the hell's in here anymore. I'm just gonna wipe it clean. We'll start from the scratch, just like throw everything away. So I think that if I did do that, I'd want to, do something in that category of just staying in the wilderness and seeing how long you can go. But if I'm not mistaken, on a UIM, if you die even by an NPC, you lose all your items. There's no
everything.
like, yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
I feel like starting out a UIM with that mindset of, hey, like, let's play this game in a way where, like, if I ever did wipe, let's see it as a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Because I have
Sure.
seen some tragic wipes on
Oh,
Twitter
bro.
in past years. I mean, people with literally over 2 bill bags of like UIMs getting killed in the wilderness, and it's like, dude, I would be on suicide watch in game, of course. I like
Right.
that would just be horrible. Like that would absolutely destroy me, I think. Just losing years and just thousands of hours of
Yeah, dude.
progress immediately. But like, I don't know, if you go into it with the mindset of, hey, like I enjoy this game mode for the risk, I enjoy the clean slate, let's
Yeah.
rebuild, like that would be a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think so as well. And just like I haven't even really gotten to the thought of that. Like I made that account like a year ago. But I think like I don't even know what the best weapon you could even achieve if you had an account that was like that. Like if you're in the wilderness, like I don't even know, are there any even good, I mean, other than the rev weapons, obviously, but I mean, maybe that's just what it would be. You'd just be like a rev weapon, try to get the rev, but then if somebody kills you, they get everything.
Yeah.
There's no like 3 item keeps, So I just feel like I'd be hunted constantly, and who knows? It might be fun. I mean, just to see where it goes. Who knows? I think there's some allure to it for sure.
Wilderness content definitely makes the most exhilarating content. I mean, for good reason. You're
Yep.
interacting with real players that want to hunt you, which is just inevitably exciting. But
Yep.
man, if you are not prepared for that, it can be extremely draining for the content creator himself. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
anxiety, just at all turns.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a way that you can set Edgeville to be your respawn point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know how or what you would do, but if I did the UIM thing, I'd have to do that just for the authenticity of like, I literally am now never leaving, even if I die.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 5 mil GP. So
Good Lord.
yeah, that's going to be quite a grind getting to that point.
Yeah. My
that
goodness.
would be cool.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
really all you need is just one good relic from Revs, and that'll pay for it all. So
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
like start off at Lumbridge, and then it's just as soon as you get like that big payday, it's like, boom, it's paid off. We're good.
Yeah, that's true. Just make that like the first goal
Yeah.
of the account. And then like anything after that is just like, let's go,
Or have like maybe like an unlock, say like as soon as I do hit the 5 mil cash tag, I immediately buy that, and then I'll have like some other little freedom unlock that'll allow me to do something else in the game. Yeah.
Like go other places, but I only can on World 541.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly. Something
the PvP.
cool that would keep people engaged, and it's like there are these smaller goals. Now, I am not a snowflake idea creator.
Right, yep.
So
Right.
you're gonna have to reach out to the actual true snowflakes of the community and get their consensus. But
yeah.
I have considered a few different snowflake accounts, and it's always because I'm feeling either a little bit demotivated with the certain grinds I have, because I am a dedicated player to one account. I love the endless progression. Everything's on one account. It feels good, but there are cons to it, which is just the sense of being locked to incredibly long hour grinds toward the end game, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, basically. And what really sucks is like you would think over time you would get more and more used to these just crazy grinds, but there does hit a limit where you're like, I've dealt with this before so many times of these insane hours, and you get a little demotivated. So my mind will turn to thinking of snowflake ideas, and one of the ideas that I'm still holding on to a little bit is it's somewhat related to the tile man mode, except this would be slide man mode, which is literally the only way you can get anywhere is by going in one direction, one cardinal direction, just northeast, south, or west, until you hit an obstacle, and then you have to choose like what way you're going to go at that point. And it is way more difficult. So I've like done a little bit of like brainstorming, and I've even sat at Lumbridge, and I've decided like, how can I complete a quest, for example, if I can only go in certain directions. And you eventually do get locked. So you would either have to have some exceptions, like, okay, I can move a couple tiles if I get some unlocks, or I can move diagonally or something. I don't know, but the idea of it seems pretty cool for a snowflake, just for content's sake. But actually playing an account like that would just be like
a one-off series, because I did think there's I'm currently doing this long process of updating the Osiris guide for like the most efficient way to start a hardcore or to start an Ironman, but I'm specifically making it for hardcores, specifically to max and get a quest cape, like all within, like I really want like that. But after that was done is when I did think about maybe like doing like 1 month of like wilderness, you know, like, so maybe like there's like a little break in content, like we're going to do this, like maybe you could do something like that. Or you know what, it might even be fun if you had like some sort of bit reward in your channel where people could like remove a cardinal direction that you can't go, like south, and then every time somebody donates like 10 bits, it'll change to like north, east, or west, and then it'll just keep changing intermittently, and who knows, like it could be a disaster.
Yeah, like the disaster comes when it's on stream, because with this sort of idea, there are inevitable mistakes you'll be making where it's just like, oh, I accidentally misstepped out of this. So what you really, I feel like for me, making something like this would have to be YouTube exclusive and really just get the edits right. So it's more like a story, and it's more like there's no real mistakes. A live stream, oh my God, you would just see me just getting angry, just so pissed off. I would have to do all the brainstorming in my head off stream and then just make the final product, and then everyone can just enjoy it without dealing with the stress that I'm dealing with. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, because if you were to, for example, and I bet, I mean, Settled can literally pull off anything at this point. He can do whatever he wants. But if the average person were to have made a Tileman mode and streamed it, oh my dear God, like the amount of hours you're just waiting to just pickpocket a man on the first tile you have. Like just sitting there waiting for your HP to regen. Like that, the content becomes so much more fun when it's edited and it has a nice story to it.
I agree, because there is like I'm assuming there's a long waiting period.
Oh yeah, it's
for a lot of the stuff, especially when I think of like the stuff that Settled's done. Like I think it'd even be difficult. Like I caught a couple Settled streams when he was going for what was it? Magic Logs, I think, on the rebuild of Swampletics. He was killing Tarn's Lair zombies, I think it was, from Magic Logs. But he was doing that on stream. And it was some, like, I don't even remember this is a while back. But that's at least, like, constant combat. But if you're, like, on a tile account and you're just sitting there, you know, you're just like, come on, NPC, come closer so I can shop at this store. Like, so I can save a tile. Like, although I love the concept of that, but I think from a viewer aspect, like, you better be a pretty damn good communicator and constantly being able to, like, talk and chat with your community, or people are just going to sit there and just do nothing.
Yeah, it's tough.
It sounds stressful.
And I'm imagining you've probably seen Limpwort's series, his Extreme One Chunk Iron Man.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
an incredible series. But again, I've popped it. This is the guy is incredible content creator. But when you pop into a live stream and you realize how tedious this grind really is, like, it's beautiful to just watch a 20-minute video on like months of progress. But as soon as you're the actual experience, you're like, holy shit, like this is actually rough. Like this is insane content to make.
I remember when the episode before he unlocked the Calphite Queen tile, at the end of that, and he unlocks the Calphite Queen tile, I literally was like, oh, best of luck, bro. But then when he came out with the Calphite Queen, like that video, it was so good. And I think he just, like, that was a really memorable video for me because like he was doing all of this stuff and like labeling all these things that he had achieved and all the kill counts. And all I kept thinking of was like, I was like, yeah, but where's the pet? Like, where's your pet?
Yep.
And then he like does this like big thing, like right at the end. And he shows how he got the pet like super spooned a while back. And I was like, bro, what a fantastic video this was. It had my attention the whole time. You know, sometimes like I would say it's kind of rare. And maybe I'm just an asshole. I don't know, but it's kind of rare for me to sit and visually watch a video, like all the way through. It's either on the backside, like even streams of like some of my closest friends. Like I'm not like sitting there and watching it. But some of the people that really catch my attention that I literally like sit, grab the popcorn kind of status was Swampletics. I watched like distinctly like watched everything like it was like episodes to my favorite sitcom every single time he posted a video about Swampletics. And Only Trails. I love like, I don't know. I love his editing skills. I think Joran is just a dynamite individual.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah. He's just freaking fantastic. And I think he's an amazing content creator as well. So I like to watch his stuff, and I think he's really witty and funny.
Speaking of Joran, he actually did offer 2 topics. He asks, how did you become such a positive person? Any advice in life to always see the positive side? And also, when duet? And you guys are both extremely musically talented.
Gosh. Dude, that guy is on a whole nother level of like vocal ability.
He's incredible. An amazing singer.
Oh my gosh, he's so good. And like when I hear his voice, to me, it's like the equivalent of like a mother swaddling her baby, except I'm the baby and he's my mother. You know what I mean? It's just it's so like the timbre in his voice is like, it's like he's like at a lower register voice than myself.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck, it feels like an ear hug. I just love it, dude.
Yeah.
And it was funny because like I was a big fan of his before I ever streamed, before I ever like did any of this. I watched his Only Trails series. And then I don't even remember how we became like friends. And I consider like friends in the RuneScape community is like if I send you a message, like chances are I'm gonna get one back. You know what, like it's, you know what I mean? Like if I were to message like Settled right now, like he might respond. You know, like but like we haven't had full-fledged conversations. But like so I consider Trails as like a friend of mine. And it's just crazy to me. Like I was a big fan of his content, and then he raided me one time and everybody was like, dude, he sings too. And I was like, do you really? And then I heard his voice and I was like, oh damn, I got a man crush. Like, like I liked you before I found out you were a fantastic musician. And then obviously being a musician, like that's a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So duet, I would be honored to be able to sing with that man. And then the positive side thing, being able to give some advice to people, if you were to just put it into like a spoon-fed idea, is this too shall pass. So anything that you come in contact with in your life, just know if you're angry, if you're happy, if you're sad, just remember this too shall pass. Meaning, if you're happy and you think this too shall pass, I need to appreciate the moment I'm in, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, the last time I said that was right before this podcast. I thought this is a really awesome opportunity to do this. I've listened to some of the greatest content creators speak with Seder, and I know that this moment for me will pass, and I just really want to appreciate every moment I have here. And I literally say it to myself often. And so like with the house fire, that was something, I mean, my wife was like my rock in that moment, but I do remember like verbally out loud saying like, this too shall pass. Like, we will get through this. Like, I'm alive. My babies are alive. My wife is alive. I don't give two shits about anything else. And so once you start valuing like peace over everything else, then just life is just easy. You know, it's just easier, not easy. It's easier.
Yeah.
So that's my big thing. You know, if you feel like you're always just stuck in this negative loop, just stick to that, you know, cause it'll help you appreciate the stuff that, maybe you just take advantage of or take, what is the word, for granted. And then, you know, when you're in the ruts, it'll help you remember like, yeah, but eventually I won't be here and we'll just keep pushing. So.
Yeah. In fact, let's dwell on that a little bit. You did experience really, I mean, a tragedy earlier this year with the whole house fire, and a lot of people had heard of it, but I don't know if people know the full story. So if you're comfortable sharing a little bit of
I am.
Of what that taught you and just how the whole experience went down, because that is, yeah, definitely something that nobody would ever want to have happen in their own life. That sounds
Right.
horrible.
Well, okay, so I tend to be a little bit of a long-winded person, and so respectfully, I just want to make sure that if you think I'm going on about it, you're like, dude, wrap it up. I won't be offended. But I will try to keep it. I'm a like look at my clock and be like, all right, 6 minutes. Let's keep it there.
Yeah.
So in the realm of content creating, my whole entire like, what is it, like my track record or like the history of my content has been like just kind of crazy. Like, so I started streaming 40 days later. I quit my job. Like a full-time job. I have family, a wife and children. Like, it wasn't a easy decision, but I told my wife, I was like, I think this is going somewhere. And then that was April 1st. I called and quit my job. Right. And then on May 29th, so 2 months later, Twitch permanently banned me because for 3 months, saying that I was like spreading malicious links and stuff, like stealing people's IP addresses. And I was like, bro, you got the wrong guy. So then I started like streaming on YouTube. Anyway, I get my account back in January, February, March, May, June, July, August, like right at the beginning of August, I think, or at the end of July or whatever. And so then like things kick off. Behe does this big like, yo, Radish is back. The channel started like growing really, really fast again. And then house fire. And that was like such a crazy experience. So for people that don't know, I do have a clip on my stream that went like really fast through the internet the day it happened. And I even told my moderator and good friend Ninja K when it was happening, I said, take the VOD down, take it down. I don't want people to see like my life literally burn. And so he stopped the video from like people being able to watch it and stuff. But then like hours later, after I was through the shock, I wasn't really through it, but hours later he had mentioned, or somebody was like, dude, people want to see this and know that you're okay. And so I had gotten some like good guidance from that. And I was like, all right, you can release it. And then it shot back up and it hit like almost 50,000 views for Twitch, a Twitch VOD is like, or a Twitch clip is quite a bit. If I'm not mistaken, it's like top 10 RuneScape ever, like
Probably.
in the history of RuneScape. But to break down, we had a fire detector that was extremely sensitive. I feel like if you like you put something in the microwave for too long, it was going off. And early in the morning, I started a cleaning cycle on my oven. If you guys don't have a self-clean oven, they get like crazy, crazy hot and pretty much just like chars everything on the inside and then you sweep it out. But I started at like 8 a.m. I went and had coffee with a friend of mine who is kind of like a life coach to me, very wise man. I seek guidance from and counseling. And then I went home at like 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. So 2 hours into the clean cycle of the oven. I checked everything. I switched over to load of laundry and I started my stream. It was during leagues. And I remember I had a leagues event planned to do something. Soul Wars, I think it was, is what the plan was. So then I'm streaming, and the stream, the VOD itself is like, I think, an hour and 45 minutes long. So I started streaming, and I don't even remember the time, but the fire alarm started going off. I didn't recognize it at first, because obviously I wear these like these headphones, sound like I don't hear anything other than like my voice and the music and stuff. But then I remember stopping and pausing and saying, and honestly, like fully, I thought in my head it was going off because of the oven on clean cycle, because it just gets that hot, and my fire alarm is just, a boy who cried wolf. And so I said on stream, I think that's my fire alarm. Knowing, now mind you, I didn't know, but in my brain, knowing fully well it was, but it was just like a spoof. But I did it. I said that on stream to maybe like draw in like attention or just like getting people thinking about it. But then I noticed that there was an issue when it didn't go off. And it was like 90 seconds. Somebody said on Reddit, like after the video, like made it onto like live stream fails, like not RuneScape related. It was on a totally separate subreddit. Somebody's like, the dude sits there for 96 seconds. Like, what a fucking idiot. And I was like, I mean, yeah, if you watch me in the middle of a tragedy, like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, or a lot of the things that people were saying was like kind of crazy about the whole event is like, I had just recently, gotten one of those Apple Watches, which shout out to Uncle Fox. I had COVID and he'd like bought me the Apple Watch so I could monitor my oxygen levels. Freaking amazing human being. Cool. But I had my vital signs on stream and my resting heart rate was like 79. And you can see, I said, I think I'm going to go check that out. And then I leave stream, I go downstairs, and I knew immediately hitting the bottom step that something was wrong, because now it's hard to explain. But from the bottom of my stairs you could look into my dining room, and then past the dining room is the kitchen. And I couldn't see anything in the kitchen.
Oh God.
Because it was all smoke. And you can tell when I see that on the clip, because you see my heart rate go 79 to like 160.
Oh my God.
And I thought this is, do you want to know what shock is? And if I have the opportunity to like, to help somebody in a situation like this, like, there's a couple of really, really important things that I'm like such a stickler on, and I'll explain in a second. But my brain immediately went into, I need to get my kids out of the house, and then I need to tell everybody else to go. Who's everybody else? Fucking homies in the community in the stream. Why did I think I needed to tell them, guys, you got to log off? Like it was just like shock, complete shock. And the crazy thing is my kids weren't home. Like it just, my brain went into like fight or flight and just like fried itself. So I see this, and I could feel the heat. It was already hot. Like I approached the kitchen, because like it was just smoky, and I was like, maybe it's something I can do something about. And it wasn't, because as soon as I got like in the dining room portion of the thing, like I didn't even want to get closer to the kitchen because it was just hot.
Oh my God.
So I turn around, I go back upstairs, and that's when you see me walk into the camera. And if I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, my words are, holy fucking shit, my house is on fire. And people in stream thought, and I found this out afterwards, thought I was just full of shit. But then I call 911 and I'm talking to the operator, and I shit you not, he says, okay, so like, have you evacuated the premises? And I'm like, no, I'm upstairs. And he says, get the fuck out of the house. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And so I tell stream, I say, hey guys, I'm going to go now, but I guess I'll just keep the camera on just in case anything crazy happens. And then I leave. And 9 minutes later, it is so like, you cannot see my microphone in front of my camera.
Oh my God.
And if you really, really listen to the entire VOD before like the fire burns through the electrical system and shuts, like they lose power to the house, or we lost power to the house, you can hear, it's like almost creepy, but like you hear these, oh God, there's a couple things I forgot I've never mentioned even on stream, but you can hear these like explosions, not like big ones, but just like cans, glass shattering and popping. And then in the distance, you hear the fire department, like they're like strolling up, and that was like 9 minutes. Now the crazy thing, there's a couple crazy things. One, I a long time ago, I went hitchhiking and I bought a can of bear mace, grizzly bear mace. This matters to the story. And I kept that can of bear mace in the kitchen. And I remember there was this like, it was so like the fire department had a hard time. Like, they had said something about like some, I don't know if it was like hard for them to breathe, because I know they got all that stuff on them. But there was one door that they never opened. And when we went back through the house, my wife, a firefighter, and my pastor from my church, like we opened the door and it hit us like a shit ton of bricks. And it was just this like vapor cloud of like melted leaded paint and grizzly bear mace. It was miserable.
God.
Dude, it was crazy. But so that is like essentially everything that happened. Now, these are the things that I want to be able to tell people. One, close your doors. There's a very distinct reason that I tell people, buy solid doors and close your doors in a fire, because the kitchen, according to the fire department, the fire never left the kitchen. It stayed in the kitchen the entire time. But the fire alarm outside of my office, which is it's like literally the furthest room away and up a flight of stairs, melted. Like shit melted that was, 30 meters away from the frickin', or 20 meters away from the fire.
God.
But everything that was behind a closed door, it looked like you were walking from hell to Narnia. It was completely different. The room that was directly attached to the kitchen looked like nothing ever happened. There wasn't even any smoke damage in it, man. It was crazy. And it was attached to the kitchen. Yet my office, which the whole way to my office is just nothing but like open doors or hallways, everything was like scorched and melted or smoke damage. It was insane. And so I just tell people, close your doors, man, and get solid doors. We had this old ass home. And so when the insurance company came in and they said, if you want to, you can go with hollow doors, and you can actually say, we'll give you the difference in money. Like, and you can put that money in your account. And I said, hell no. Not only do I want solid doors again, I want the best fire rated doors like that money can buy. And I'll pay anything extra, because I have like some shit still going on, like some fears and stuff with that, because it totally changed my life. But that was 10 minutes, not 6. Um, but yeah, dude, that was it was a pretty intense situation. The insurance company that we're with, State Farm, shout out to State Farm, fantastic company. I'm very, very blessed to be with them. They didn't put us through the ringer or anything. They were just there. Like, dude, my insurance agent, like here in town, was literally like sitting next to me in the they had this like emergency like vehicle truck thing that had like water and whatnot and you could stay warm. He was like sitting next to me like before the fire was put out. Like, I don't even know how I didn't contact him. My wife didn't contact him. I think it was like my mom found out and she called. I don't know. It's crazy, but like, just like super personable guy, fantastic human being. But yeah, that was an incredibly crazy experience. The insurance company hired this explosions expert, which is on his calling card, but pretty much like a fire guy. And he came in and like surveillanced everything and analyzed everything and told us that it wasn't the oven, which I thought it was. I told him everything about it. And he said that it was a short in the coffee maker.
Oh my God.
And the coffee maker, you know how like everybody and their brother will put their filters next to the coffee maker?
Yeah.
So apparently like the heat pad in the coffee maker had a short in it and it caught the coffee filters on fire, and then whatever was above those, like if we had these like wooden cupboards and this like wicker basket with like mail and stuff in it on top of the oven. So then that caught those caught the other stuff, and then inside of that was like aerosol cans of like vegetable oil, and then from there it was like a disaster. So
Jesus.
it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That did take a little bit of that guilt away though, knowing that it wouldn't have mattered if the oven was on a clean cycle or not.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I had a lot of guilt. Just feeling so bad about it.
That feeling that you were saying, like that shock that you go through. I mean,
I
have had little moments, nothing extremely insane like a house fire or anything, but when you're going through something that's not the norm and your pulse is just insanely high and you don't know what you're doing, and you're doing things that are irrational almost because you've never actually been in a situation like this, nor did you ever plan to be in a situation like that. So that's a really scary thought, is just something happening, having no idea, not having ever done like drills with it. I mean, there's a reason we used to do fire drills at schools and stuff, is because things like this. But like, in adulthood, having to go through something as traumatizing as that, like that's got to be just, that is scary stuff, man. I'm glad you're safe and your family's safe.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'd say some of the hardest things from it was, still to this day, my son will say like, "Is it time to go back to the old house yet?" And like, that's just like, it's not nearly as hard as the first night. Like the first night we were in a hotel room. My son just like did not understand. And he said, "I want to go home." Like, and I was just like, "Bro, we don't have a home." You know, it's like that. Ugh, it's heavy. But I tried my best in that situation to just literally, this too shall pass. Right. Mm-hmm. And I tried my best every single time I was live. I wanted to make sure that people could look to me and say like, "Oh, dude's being strong through this." Like, I was a fucking wreck, bro. Like, I was a wreck, but I knew, what good is that going to do me? If I really focused on my true goal, right, is to be a motivational speaker, what kind of motivation am I going to create inside of a community that I feel needs it if I just get on and just start this fucking pity party?
Yeah.
And so like, I just wanted to be like, listen, you guys, like, you can do hard things. Like, that's something we tell my son Bear. And right now it's for trivial things like tying his shoes and wiping his ass. And he'll get frustrated and be like, "Papa, I need your help. Like, this is hard." And I said, "Bear, it is hard, but you can do hard things." And so like, I wanted people to know like, hey, you might go through a literal or metaphorical like dumpster fire, but you'll get through it. It's good. Like this too shall pass. You'll be good, King. Queen, keep your head up. Keep pushing on. And then on top of that, do something for somebody else. Because I just feel like healing starts when we just lose that idea of selfishness. And so like I knew that my family was going to be forced to be receivers because we had nothing. And my whole life, my dad raised me. He said, you can never find true happiness if you don't become a giver. And so like I dedicated my life to wanting to give, either with my time, my finances, with words of wisdom or encouragement. And so like I knew that like at this moment, like we're forced to receive, like we have to receive in order to survive. And so like the only way I can still become a giver, like my dad raised me to be, is I have to be a giver with my positive nature. And so like I had to stick to that. And sometimes I wasn't able to do it. Sometimes I've snapped, at people like coming in stream and just like trying to be funny and like, hey, aren't you that guy whose house burnt down? Like, well, maybe you should have got up earlier. Like just shit, sometimes it hurts my feelings. Sometimes I just let it go. Yeah. Now I'm like over it. It's getting to the exciting part where, we're looking at fridges and we're looking at, they just redid our floors and they look better than they were pre-fire. But I just say like that's the most important thing, man. Like everything that I've gone through, like there's been people that have gone through hell way worse than I have. And they've come out stronger than I have, right? And so, and I also wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the RuneScape community. Like, I don't know if people know this, but I'm very, very vocal about it. I'm very vocal about my finances because what I do is just purely based on charitable offerings. And so, like, if I try to lie about my finances, the truth will the truth will come out anyway. But like, the RuneScape community raised nearly $20,000 for my family. And we lived off that money for 6 months, man. Like my streams were extremely inconsistent. My wife, her job was amazing. They gave us a house, but like to stay in temporarily until we get fixed up. But like it created like people on the internet were like, hey, he's got insurance. Like he doesn't need this. There's something that I know the RuneScape community took away from my tragedy, and it was worry. To couple the tragedy with constant worry, like, would have been crippling to me. Yeah. But like, my son Bear, like my daughter Callie, and then my wife was pregnant at the time, dude. My wife was hospitalized for 4 days for lead inhalation because of the paint in the home. Like just going through the remnants, like she was, and Leo almost didn't make it. Like her heart rate was like up in the high 200s, or not high 200s, but like low 200s, like in that area is like super, super high. And it's because she was just in the house after it burnt because there was old ass lead paint from like the 19 freaking whatevers. Through all of that, like the money that was given to my family it just eliminated do we do ramen tonight? Or do we do, what are we going to have to pay on the insurance? What is the insurance not going to cover? We didn't have to worry about any of that. And I'm so in debt to the RuneScape community and to Twitter and to like so many kind people that I had no idea who they were. They dedicated like a week's worth of streams to my family. They don't know. Indica RS, dude, and Red Hunliff. Those guys, a lot of people did a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong. And I don't want to like sit here and name everybody, but those guys specifically, I just remember seeing constant streams of them doing like, and raising money for my family. And the first time I was like, who the fuck are you guys? Why are you doing this? And it was so wildly humbling to just think like these guys, he doesn't care. He doesn't care who I am. He knows that somebody's in need and their community like banded together and they just like they donated and it didn't even really matter about the money. I could see the passion in this man who was caring for a stranger. And from that, like him and I have become really good friends, and I'm just like so thankful. And like that, it just sometimes life gets real,
Yeah.
you know? And so many, there's literally so many people. Like it would be impossible to name them.
Yeah.
However,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
I did a stream. I went to the house before it was started the construction process. I bought a bunch of Sharpies, and my mod, Vaninja K, who was the one who like started the GoFundMe for me. We went through and spent, I don't even know how much time, hours, literally scouring the internet on the Behe video, on Reddit, on Twitter, on like every aspect of anything RuneScape or anything Fire Radish Boy related. And anybody that said a kind word, like, hey, thoughts and prayers, or hey, best of luck, King, you'll get through this. Literally anything. Or if they donated and said nothing, just we wrote their name down and I put them in a giant spreadsheet. And then I spent like 5 hours one day sharpieing every single person's name to the interior walls of that home. And when the construction company, just maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, was drywalling everything, they said, hey, what do you want us to do with this like entire wall of names? And I said, like, I want you to cover it up because I know, like, I want this to be a part of like the structure of this home for the rest of like time that this house is standing. Like all the names of these people. And like that shit means so much to me. And it'll literally be, I'll be surrounded by that energy, if you believe in energy or not, or auras or whatever, but I'll be surrounded by that energy every single freaking stream because I put it in the office where I was when the fire started. And so like it's hundreds, thousands of names. It took me forever. My arm was freaking dead. You know, like it took me forever to write it.
Wow.
But it means a lot to me, man. It's like, that's it means a lot.
Yeah, it's honestly incredible, the OSRS community, what they've done over the years with charity events and just literally helping their own community members in so many ways. There's been many, tragedies and illnesses and things that people have gone through where the community, they'll just band together. It doesn't even matter who it is,
Right.
It's a beautiful thing to see. And it really gives you hope in humanity as well, when you think like people are just really selfish and you see acts of kindness like so great like this. It's cool.
Yeah.
It gives you hope.
Yep. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Rendy asks, what's your deepest, darkest secret?
Oh gosh.
Don't worry, the Sae Bae cast is a safe space, except I do not take responsibility for anybody else's leaking your deepest, darkest secret, but now it's a safe space now.
It's on the honor system.
Yeah.
Like, so we just say
it'll just be published permanently on the internet. So
yeah. But if you get to this point, like you've signed like a verbal agreement pretty much saying that you won't say anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's what happens in Sae Bae stays.
Yes.
On the internet.
Knows that. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
What is your deepest, darkest secret?
Oh gosh, I'd probably say that RuneScape wise, right? Mm-hmm. It would be I don't know. I'm trying to think of something good. Maybe not the deepest, darkest secret, but see, a lot of the times people think that I'm just this, casual, fun-loving, super chill dude. But like truly, deep down, real deep, I am like a sweaty gamer nerd. Like I care about like EHP and I want to do things like my brain. I'm a better gamer than people give me credit for, man. I swear. People all the time are like, oh, Radish Boy doing CG, huh? And I'm like, okay, I understand that I suck on stream, but listen, hear me out. I don't suck off stream, which doesn't help. But like, I do have, like, I've diagnosed ADHD. I've medicated for it. And like, when I'm streaming, I don't do that good at PVM. And I'm atrocious at PvP. But like when I'm just like when I just like embody like the essence of like what it means to be like a really good PVMer, I can really tackle that shit like offline. Which then obviously everybody's like, yeah, sure, you know, like they can never see it. And sometimes deep down, like I get a little salty. Like I really took it hard when I did the 5-day Inferno challenge and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I suck. You know, but people, cause I love it when people don't think I can do something, because I believe, and I believe this about everybody, even you, Satyr, you can literally do anything, but you are choosing whether or not you want to give up. And so for me, like just recently, EVscape and Verf and myself, we did these like speed runs on that 1000 XP world, and I don't even know how long people had been like deciding whether or not, like, we wanted to try and max in 6 hours. Well, EVscape and Verf both say impossible, cannot happen, and I just think, nope. There's not enough information. I don't think we have enough time to really focus on absolute perfection to see like if I really think it could be possible. And Verf did an incredible job, and EVscape did it with like the item smuggling thing that I found out for the event. But like for me, I was like, nope, I want to figure this out because I know I can do it. What I didn't, but but I just like I hate just like believing in like
pushes
absolute
you when people
oh yeah, dude,
don't
that
believe
shit
in
fuels me.
Yeah.
Yep, it fuels me for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a deepest darkest secret, but I'm sorry, Rendy.
No, that's I think that's appropriate. I don't think the audience would want to hear your deepest darkest secret that you've never told anybody, nor would they want to hear mine, nor would I want to say mine. But I will say, when it comes down to game skill and just love for the game, passion for the game, it's really, really fun, first of all, to be extremely motivated toward the game. I've definitely had my handfuls, weeks worth, months worths of just this incredible engagement with the game and just absolutely loving it, loving the progress, loving just building up a bank, you know, getting things done. It's very satisfying. And one of the beautiful parts about this game is the skill ceiling of so much PVM content.
Yes.
Still to this day. So I used to play RuneScape when I was a child with my two brothers, and like they used to play. They were a lot more casual than I was. I was fucking obsessed, just RuneScape, you know, for at least like 3 years as a child. And they still see this game as click boss, watch until the boss dies. You know, they still have that idea that this is RuneScape. There's no skill. It's all time based. There is so much skill that can be brought to this game. I mean, you've seen Exact's 40 Combat Inferno, Afsol's 39 Combat Inferno, the level 3 combat fire capes, just the most insane achievements. Yeah, and you think a cold one, hardcore solo TOB, praise foot, Grandmaster helmet on a hardcore armor, just like insane stuff like that. And I don't know, there's something very beautiful about a game that can give it all, where it's like there's super long time gated obstacles as well as just pure mechanical skill, which is just keeps this game fresh. It feels like there's a beautiful, and I think it happened on accident. I don't know. I doubt like the intention of the game was to make a tick based system. I don't know what the like why they did it the way they did. But there is this like beauty of the simplicity of the mechanics, right? Like I'm doing aerial fishing right now and I'm clicking pools that pop up. And then I'm cutting pools or whatever. Like if you want to, you can just like use knife on bluegill and it'll eventually do your whole entire inventory. Or you can do it really quick and further your experience. So if you want to be casual, you can. Or if you want to be like a freaking turbo nerd, you can do that as well. Both people can do the same topic. And then the cool thing about it is like you get these guys that like one of the videos, one of my old
like the videos of the people that really motivated me to like make content, or that opened my eyes really to the world of like high efficient RuneScape play, was a guy named Cloud Badass.
Yeah.
And he did a video where he was in the Arma room for like, I don't even know, I could be way wrong, but it was like 900 kills or something stupid. And when I did Arma, I could only get like 4 kills. And I was like, there's no way. This guy, there's no way like that he's doing this. And I remember watching it with my brother, and my brother's like, he's cheating. And I'm like, he's not cheating. You just suck. Like, you can't wrap your mind around, he's just that good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and my brother's like the same, like you said with your brothers, like he's just like still in the mindset of like, oh, you know, you click it, there's no, but you're right, dude. It's open. Like the simplistic nature of a game that can be extremely diverse, extremely complex. But it could be, you know, you could have 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds playing this game, and they can technically do the same stuff. You know, they can go and kill a boss super casually and get, you know, just sit there and face tank Bandos and eat through it and do 1 or 2 kills in inventory. Or you can run around and click certain spots and, you know, try to do a bunch of super sweaty stuff so that you can get 20 kills.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really awesome as well to discover how much potential you really have to get good at this game. I was absolute dog shit at this game, and I know it's like maybe hard for somebody to believe that. I feel like there's some people that have just classified certain I am not in the category of just amazing PVMers. I feel like I'm up there with, you know, some of the people that just play this game a lot and they can do.
Hold on. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I watched a video that you did this. Okay. So like I told you, I think it was either pre-recording or what, but I told you like I used to put your podcast on and I would just like fall asleep to them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I would like watch your whatever content you were doing at the time. And there's a couple topics that you've touched base with, and I think it was the T Papa cast. I listened to that one. I might have listened to that one like 2 or 3 times, to be fair, because I love T Papa. But you also talk shit about hardcores, and I got a bone to pick with you. So, jokingly, of course. But you did. There's a boss that I absolutely hate in this game because it's way too difficult for the shit that it gives you. But I watched you do it, and I was like, "What? You turn it into fucking butter? How do you do that?" And it was Calfight Queen. You would like run in and you'd freaking teleport to your house. You do something with your helmet. I don't know. You claw it, you're done. And then he's dead. And then you're out and you're back in and you're just rinse and repeat. And it was so smooth. And I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, so I set up my account. I didn't have as much like stuff as you did.
Yeah.
And I got freaking raffle stomped. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm literally watching this man do it while having a full-fledged conversation with a human being. And actually, you know what? I think maybe it was one of your rambles. I don't remember now. But anyway, so when you say you're not the greatest at PVM, I distinctly remember that video. And I was like impressed. So anyway,
no.
Continue. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, thank you. That's very flattering. I do really try to make the game as convenient as possible and try to really nitpick with things. And I can't do it with everything. Like, for example, I put myself in a box. I do this a lot. Like, for example, Inferno. I don't claim I'm good at the Inferno. Yes, I've completed the Grandmaster achievements. They took me a while. They were difficult for me. And you see players that are just so insane at the Inferno that I've just kind of put myself into a box where it's like, oh, well, I don't really ever want to push myself that far because there's already people that are just insane with it. I try to find like a niche area where this is something I feel comfortable with. I feel like I could really enjoy mastering this, and I want to just get, you know, my bank layout perfect. I want to find tick saving strategies. I want to figure out min-max setups and stuff. And that gets me excited for the game. So I don't feel like I'm up there with the absolute top dogs. Exactly. With all those people. But I did start at a very humble level where I didn't even know how to prayer flick. In fact, learning how to one-tick prayer flick was one of the most difficult things I had to learn because it was just like made no sense to me. I didn't understand the tick system for
I still don't.
hours. Yeah,
I look at ticks totally different than people.
Yep. And
do
it
tick
just
stuff.
it comes with time. Like these things, you have to work toward it, and then it comes with time, and then everything is made easier. But you have to push yourself to those levels, and it just takes time, which is the sad, unfortunate truth of you can't just learn things overnight. You just got to keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. But that is one thing that RuneScape has taught me that has actually led into my life. For example, this year, I've lost like 30-ish pounds, which has just literally been, it's from walking, and it's from walking consistently, like every single day. And I didn't ever really fully understand that. I obviously knew the benefits of just like moving and stuff, but like, damn, the consistency is really it. I for years would go through, it was right after I kind of like dropped out of college. I lost my rhythm of like working out and stuff, or just doing any form of activity. And as soon as I realized, like, dude, this is just an exercise, like every day. It's like the easiest thing, just walk for a little bit, but you have to maintain it. You can't just do it for 3 days off, take 2 weeks. Like, this is going fucking nowhere. Like, so those little things in RuneScape have actually translated to my real life, and I see this beautiful like symmetry of each, of just learning things and being consistent. So,
you know, I think what it boils down to, and I'm never surprised when I see these like multi-million-dollar people that like reference RuneScape and about how like they've played it. And like these people that are like extremely successful in real life, RuneScape is like one of the only games that I've ever come in contact with that does not reward instant gratification.
It doesn't.
And there's something about like society when you get into this realm of like, I'm not satisfied, I'm going over here so I can be satisfied. Like RuneScape, it doesn't. And then when you do get those people that like have the instant gratification inside of RuneScape, they appreciate it so much more. The people that go in and get a really low KC pet, you know, like they know, holy shit, I should not have this, and now I do, and now I like appreciate it. Like for me on my one pet at a time account, like it took me 367 days, like 100 and some odd days game time and 47 million fishing experience to get the heron.
First pet. 47.
And then like,
well, okay, let me just ask, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
What did you actually expect? Like deep in your mind when you started your 0 XP fishing, where did you think you'd actually get the pet? Like at what point?
I have no idea.
Were you just thinking like before 99, hopefully, like just kind of like,
dude, I didn't know. I mean, this is before this is before I knew how to, before I knew how to, like I saw people do snowflake accounts. This is before I knew really even understood like the time grind that pets take. This is before I knew how to prayer flick. This is like, I just had a stupid idea in my head. And then just like, it's really hard to like, if I'm focused, if I'm hyper focused, a thing with ADHD and people that have like borderline obsessive compulsive disorder, is like, I just get hyper focused and nothing can stop me from doing what I want to do. And so dude, I kid you not though. So I made the pet guy account. And while I was doing fishing, it was so easy to just like AFK another account. So I was AFKing Radish Boy at the same time. On Radish Boy, I got the heron at 87 fishing. While I was like 26 million experience fishing on the pet guy. And I was like, what the fuck?
That would be so tilting.
Dude, I know. It was pretty rough. But yeah, I don't know. I just went into it. But then like that same idea, right? So after the fishing grind, I went to Winter Todd. And I was there until we got the Phoenix, and I hit 99. The next day I did one solo, and that's how we started the day. I would do a solo Winter Todd, and then we would go and do something else. Literally the next day, after my first day 99, I did a solo Winter Todd, got the Phoenix, and I shit a brick, and I was like, oh God, it's over already. Okay. Yeah. You know, like that's really cool. But I'm telling you, like, when you're going into something and you're like expecting like, I have to work for this. And I put the work in for the heron. I didn't really put the work in for the Phoenix, but it was like, I just had that appreciation for it. So again, like to what you had mentioned about, this game, and like for me, the instant gratification teaching you that like it takes effort to do something, consistency with your walking, consistency with like look at Settled's journey with the Swampletics, you know, like that's, oh gosh, like that was such an incredible grind, or like Limpworth's grind. Like some of these people put in so much time, and I'm not surprised when I look at like maybe their real life and they're also successful in real life.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, well, that's because you have the mentality of somebody that can overcome that desire for instant dopamine.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Props to you guys.
So we've already covered a couple of this, but Polo Bay has a few things to say. First of all, he says really excited for this one. Thanks for being such a wholesome dude. Your content is so chill and enjoyable. What's your favorite content to play? I remember finding your one pet at a time videos in your very early YouTube days going super dry for the Heron. They were good fun. What is your favorite content to play?
Hardcore content. I
Anything
really
hardcore?
don't even anything hardcore. If I'm on a hardcore, I'll play it.
Okay.
But I really don't like playing not hardcore accounts.
Let's talk about hardcore, because I know you have a bone to pick. And to be honest, I will say, because I feel like what you think of me with what I think about hardcore Iron Man, I've mentioned this in way long ago, Sae Bae casts and rambles, back when hardcore Iron Man really did dominate the Twitch scene. And the reason I found it so unappealing and honestly a little bit tragic that everyone fell into the hardcore trap was simply because people seemed sad. And maybe it was just a little bit of projection, even though I didn't even play a hardcore, but it just felt like people that died to a disconnect or people that died to just some bullshit, they would go into this spiral of just, I hate this game, I don't even want to stream, I don't want to do anything, this sucks, because it's out of their control. And it was just really disheartening to see this addiction to this game mode that inevitably led to just this sadness and this dark pit of just like, okay, time to remake, let's do all this shit again. And
Sure.
yeah.
I totally agree with that, and I understand, because I've completely lost my desire to play my pet guy account because I lost status. But that's what I like about it. I like the fact that
you lose your status from a disconnect?
No. I lost my status from a disconnect in my brain being a fucking idiot.
But what if you had died from a true disconnect?
Sure, and it was stolen, quote unquote stolen.
Would
from
that
me?
have been? Would that have maybe well, here, let me just let you speak.
Okay, so no, it wouldn't deter me, because every single time I watch a hardcore play, I look at them and know they faced the same judgment of a disconnect as I have. But it just like either because there's times, it's a little shoddy today, but I'll probably be fine, and then maybe sometimes you just get unlucky. But like what it does, and it's not about like whether or not it's fair or anything like that. What it does is it takes the hardcores that make it, and it makes them so much more valuable, in my opinion. Because to me, much like real life, death is what gives value to life. Because if there was no death, who would care? Like, we're all living forever. Like, what cares about, so to me, I'm just like, oh man, like Mutts' account, dude, I get anxiety when I see this man do TOA. He does, like, he pushes it, and I'm like, bro, Mutts, go chop some fucking trees, bro. Like, just do me a favor. I love his hardcore. I love his hardcore, and I love T-Papa's hardcore. Like, there's some hardcores that I am just enthralled with. And it's because of the risk that we take. And it's a lifestyle, or it's a mentality that is just above understanding if you don't like it. People are like, well, what a waste, or remake Andes or something. Like, that's the whole reason I'm trying to update the Osiris guide, is to make the remake process of a hardcore so damn efficient. Like, that's my target audience. However, a lot of other people would benefit from it. If your target audience is like the super sweaty nerds, like, anybody can get something from the advice given in a guide if it focuses on like really efficient methods and routes. So, and I remember in one of you said it yourself, in your cast with T Papa, you had said, I don't think anybody will ever be able to get the Zuck helm on a hardcore.
Oh yeah.
And if they do, it will be the most coveted account ever.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, in my little brain at the time, I was like, you fucking sit down, Sater. I'ma be that guy. And then the pet guy died. And I was like, well, I'll be him on this account. Like, next time on Will Radish died, it was something stupid. And so like, I love, and maybe it goes back to the fact that like, I love it that people think like, oh, nobody can do this. And there's people out here doing it. And then they're doing circles around people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine like the Inferno coming out, dude. And then, well, you said his name earlier, Alf, 39 Combat.
Afzal.
Afzal, yes. If somebody would be like, oh, somebody's going to do this, you know, at level 39, people would be like, you're insane, you're stupid. Or even when TOA came out, dude, so many people complained, that victim mentality, right? It's too hard, man. It's too hard. And now people are like, they're doing like 1+2s and 350s, you know? And I'm just like, bro, guys, calm down. Like, just conquer it.
Yep.
Like, see the hurdle and conquer it.
See, I fall into that trap still to this day, and I do it somewhat for a little clickbait, you know, to get people talking. But I do remember when there was only one person that had completed a 500 level TOA, and it was Port Khazard. This is like in the first.
He used the. I'm aware he used the Avenge method and right.
Yeah, and like tick eating, Zabak, and just crazy stuff. Things that seemed, and again, we didn't really know much about TOA. We didn't understand mechanics. We didn't understand all the useful jewels that you can get. The yellow Karis, for example, is just a massive thing. And, of course, invocations were changed. But when they first said, hey, the Fang kits, you know, after completing a 500 level invocation, I'm like, holy shit. Because all I had in my head was repeating what Port Khazar did, which just looked like fucking insane. But, you know, you get to the point where people start discovering stuff. You have an entire database of players and knowledge that eventually, with a tick system-based game and just everything being very calculated and knowing max hits of things, like, you get to the point where you have a very calculated journey where it's just like, okay, do this, complete this room, move on to this, fail a bunch, learn a bunch, and you'll get the kit. And yeah, it's kind of a cool thing to see. Inferno was the same way. When Inferno first came out, 2017, I believe, June 2017, I remember watching, because I was in school and I was like attending my classes, and I was just watching Wooks and Bodhi and all these people doing the Inferno. And I was like, I will never, ever even attempt this. This looks way too hard, way too complicated. There's just so much skill involved. There's gear I'll never have. And then, you know, you just get your Infernal Cape.
You
and
just
it's like,
do it.
Oh, I thought that was an impossible feat. And that kind of gives you confidence for future content.
So speaking the Infernal, when I made, when I did my like Inferno challenge, I had trusted people. They pledged certain amount of either bits or RSGP. If you can do it in 5 days, we'll give this amount at the cost of some sort of forfeit or punishment on my behalf. And one of the guys had pledged like, I don't know, 500 mil and says like, if you don't, his name's Apple Loops. He's a good friend, great guy. And so I was aware I had to agree upon it, but he said, if you get your Inferno Cape in the 5 days, I'll give you, you know, X amount of GP, like a couple hundred mils. But if you don't, you have to gamble the first one you do get.
Ooh,
and
so like in the future, after, if you had failed, just whenever you do get it. Okay.
And I agreed to it. And so I didn't get it. So one of these days, you're going to see a Behe clip where I'm going to come out. And I'm not even going to equip it. And people won't even believe me. Though I guarantee you, people are gonna be like, no, it's bullshit. He's done this before. There's no way anybody would ever do that. I'm a man of my word. And that's like why I would do it. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Because just recently there was a Behe clip where some guy got his Inferno cape and he's like, all right, let's gamble it. And I was like, oh, is he gonna? Like, is he gonna do that? But he didn't. But I will. And and so I kind of like dreading it, but I also like I don't really play Radish that much. And so I don't know when that day will come, but someday it will be. I'll probably have to do another like week's worth of streams or something.
Oh, that's so. I don't see it as painful anymore, but I remember getting my first cape, and if I had lost it, oh my god, I would have just. Would have been the worst thing ever. Gambling it and just getting nothing for it, and just knowing I have to. It's the feeling of having to do it all over again, even though you know you've just completed it, and now you get tasks, which are to go
right now. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I weighed all that before I agreed to it because I was like, I mean, I know I can do it. I know I can. You know, within 5 days. I mean, I never got to Zuck. I got to triples. But it's an incredible piece of content, well made to this day. And I think, and people shit on my idea about this, I think we need to put more power back into the JMod's hands because I want, like we originally talked at the beginning of this cast, I want more surprises. I want more surprises. I'm sick and tired of saying like, oh, hey, we're going to release this quest. Oh, and by the way, this is everything you're going to get from it. And here's the XP rates. And here's dude, it's okay. Like, I believe the JMods have like enough of an understanding of what the community wants. And I think they just recently, like, I think it just, like, they're kind of turning to that. And it makes me really freaking pumped. Like, I don't even want to know, like, what the items are going to come from a boss. I want there to be, like, give me, like, if it's cosmetic, I don't even want them to say anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just like, don't tell anybody. And then one day if it pops up, if it's a 1 in 500,000 chance to get a freaking cosmetic, you know, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not going to affect anything, I don't think the community should even have to know. Just make it a surprise.
Yeah.
You know,
I get excited about a potential. Well, first of all, I'm in complete agreement with you. I don't feel like I would have been in complete agreement with you years ago. But at this stage, I'm first of all, I'm super pumped for a new master level quest. Super excited for a brand new boss we don't know about. And to be honest, the fact that they've even revealed the rewards, I wish they had just not actually at this point. Which see, I'm trying to look at it in a different way, where it's like, okay, I still want players to have control. You know, a little bit of control where it's like, okay, like this is obviously too OP. But what you said, the JMods do have a good idea. I think, because of years and years of player involvement in these decisions, I feel like the JMods have come, and the JMod team is just fantastic, and they're big. Like, the team is big now. So I would love to personally see this go forward and even become more mysterious, where they barely even say anything. In fact, they just release something. And one thing that would be, or just like do a test run, like involve everyone and say, hey, listen, we're going to come out with something in 4 weeks' time. We've already been working on it. This is going to be a one-time trial thing. We're going to discuss with the community afterward, but we are going to keep everything secret, and we're just going to release something. I feel like that...
I love that.
Maybe that should be a vote. And they've already lowered the voting percentage to 70% and just say, hey, we're going to try something. Everything's mysterious. We're going to release it. Do you guys want this? If it's above 70%, we're going to go for it. It's not going to be anything absolutely crazy like a Raids 4 or anything, but just some significant piece of content. But, you know, when you had said where you kind of just discover a new item, I thought, what about a clue expansion in the future that they just release new third age or just new items in general that are extremely rare, and they don't say a fucking word about it?
Dude,
just
like throw it in a master clue or something.
Yeah, just all of a sudden somebody gets something that's a I guess one thing that kind of spoils it is the collection log, because the collection log will instantly have it. You know, just have
No, you remember like back in the day when people would play like Street Fighter and it would just be like a phased out version and people are like, oh, what's this character?
Oh, like a
or
little like question mark, sort of like a grayed out, like just completely.
Yeah, and like it would
is.
just, and you know what? This is the freaking Helm of Resin whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you right click that and it says like it was found by like Pikachu Yup or something, do that shit. Like once a year. Like I like maybe once a year to start, but like the idea of just complete silence, nothing, like no anything. Or maybe like there's one thing that I really liked what League of Legends does before a new champion, before they really even update it. Like if you're so used to playing something, like you pick up on really subtle changes. If you're, especially with like League, right? You're just doing the same map. If you're doing like, if you've ever played it. And I remember there was a couple times before champions came out, like I would see like in the bush, there was like some scuffling and like you would see like the tail of something. And I was like, what the heck was that? Like that's never been here before. Why did they do that? And then like 3 weeks later, bam, there's a new champion out and he loves bushes and he's got a tail, you know, or whatever it is. So like do something like that where the stuff that's just like completely nobody even cares about or looks at, like the town crier, like he like constantly is announcing stuff in like Varrock and stuff of like, hey, there's a new post go out. Like nobody really listens to the dude. But maybe if there was like a once every 20 minutes, he says a line that just people are like, hold on, has anybody ever seen him do this thing? And it just gets people talking, like slowly leaking stuff that way. And then coming out with something at a scheduled time where it's just complete, utter mystery. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm excited. I am excited for the future of the game, just simply because I think the team and the community are all kind of aligning with that. Like, we don't want to know exactly what's happening. I feel like we did at a certain time, but people change, mindsets change, the community changes, and I think this is a good point, a good shift. I wouldn't say total turning point because we don't want to absolutely just destroy what we've created with a community-driven game. But yeah, a little bit of mystery is just amazing.
Yeah, especially if they were to do it where, like, let's just say TOA, for example, nobody knew that there was a pet coming out. Everybody assumed, but they didn't really release and adamantly say until like a couple days before it came out, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember asking a lot of questions about it because on my Pet Guy account, I was like, well, hey, is there a pet? Like, because if there is, I can't do it. I can't do TOA. But it doesn't matter. But it would be cool if they had like, for raids 4, some item that is in the raid, but like maybe you have to do something specific to even have a chance at getting it. And then it would say like when the first person ever gets it, it would say like this was discovered on the examine text, like discovered by so-and-so. And then everybody's collection log is updated to where now they can at least right click and get the name like you can with or however the collection logs work. But other than that, it would just be like a question mark, right? Like you said, like just a black question mark.
Yeah.
I would love to see stuff like that. And then I know you're a big fan of clue scrolls.
Huge. Something
that I think, I don't know. I would love to hear your opinion on this. But I personally think that master clues from caskets should be stackable.
Complete agreement.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, dude.
Do you know Iron Queen?
No.
So Iron Queen's a streamer, super leveled up Iron Man, one of the like just a dedicated pet hunter and just collection log enthusiast. Incredible account. But I'm pretty sure the original idea was master tokens, and master tokens are basically the thing you would get that would eventually be like a stackable master. The thing I get worried about with like an actual just stackable master is it really fundamentally changes how clues work. Especially, I don't know, it feels strange. But what would be cool is to just get stackable master tokens. So it's just like a little red token, and you just turn those into Watson whenever, and then you can just get your master from there. So yeah, you're not interrupted doing the casket opening, but you get a stack of these tokens. But one of the things I had mentioned, and I've mentioned this a million times, is I don't want it to just instantly be unlocked to everybody. I think if you were to do that, it kind of devalues master clues in a sense. For example, if a level 3 first goal was to complete the easy log, the easy clue log, they would just be able to stack up just like hundreds potentially of these master tokens where they didn't they weren't at a stage to do them. I get worried about that. I'm not completely just like, no, we shouldn't give everybody this shot. But one thing I thought would be a cool idea is once you've achieved 100 master clues, then you get the option to have master tokens. So it's still an option, and you have to have at least proven to Watson that you are one that can complete master clues, and then it kind of starts stacking them. But I do understand the appeal of just always just.
Or what if it was a unique drop from the frickin' boss, the mimic?
What do you mean?
Like a special golden coin that Watson's like, oh, this is some good shit, and then he's like, here, I'll stack all your masters now. You know, like an untradeable drop that you'd have to get from the mimic. Then like allow masters to be, you know, like to prove essentially, and maybe it could average out to be 100 masters.
Yep.
But then there would be people like, I love the idea of like, some people are like, I got it in my first one. And then other people like, it's been 3,000 masters, you know, just like crazy stuff.
No, there's so many ways to go about it. I always thought, by the way, just simply because you mentioned Mimic, and I'll let you go. The Mimic, I think, really should give a Mimic Dust transmog that can be used on your Bloodhound to turn it into a Mimic.
Of course.
Like, that's got to be a thing. Like, come on.
Yeah, totally. I agree completely. But when it comes to like the master stacking, the way I thought of it is, if I'm not mistaken, is it the same with every clue? It's like a 1 in 50, or does it change incrementally?
So for easies, it's 1 in 50. For medium, 1 in 30. Hard, 1 in 15. And then elite, 1 in 5.
Okay. So what I thought, my original plan before I like your token ID or anything like that, you know how they pretty much just look like Christmas crackers in leagues and stuff? So my thought was like, it would act like ecumenical keys, where if you have a master, it's now more difficult to get a master clue, and then up to a cap. But then you could keep stacking them. So say if it's 1 in 50 from easies, if you want to attain a stackable master, it's 1 in 60. And then if you have 10 stackable masters, now it's 1 in 80 or 1 in 90.
In a perfect ideal world, that works, but then there's always the drop abuse where you just drop it and then you just open it, and because the game doesn't register you have a stack anymore, which is
remove the drop option to destroy.
That's true. I mean, there's ways to get around it.
Sure, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Because I do that with ecumenical keys back in the day.
That's also been an idea I've heard on Reddit and on Twitter, of just this idea of being able to stack up hard clues, but you do get that disadvantage over time. So for example, you're doing you're doing a Hellhound task, you get a hard clue, but you want to keep it, but you should be punished in some way for keeping it, holding on to it, so the rate increases. It's tough to decide like what's appropriate.
Well,
but yeah.
Maybe what if you just take the clue to Watson? Like, you still have to leave. You still have to go away. You take it to Watson. He rolls it up, sticks it in a thing, and gives it back to you.
Dude, all I'm saying... okay, did you ever hear of my owl idea? It's been a fucking minute since I've talked about this. Listen,
no.
With the hunter skill, you can train an owl. And
Love
you know,
it.
Like in Harry Potter, I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, but I got to relate to Harry Potter anyway. So Harry Potter has the lore of like owls delivering messages.
Yeah.
So this owl would instantly send your clues with a high enough hunter level. So for example, level 50 maybe is easy clues, level 60 medium, and so forth. And then you just have your owl in your inventory or following you or whatever as a pet. and then that just instantly sends it to Watson and it's back. So you send your clues to Watson, and I don't know. I think there is a lot of potential for stackable clues,
Okay.
to a certain limit, and this
So-
ability to just hold them in a certain chest. And maybe you could even have like a Watson sort of deposit box that I don't know, something that's interconnected with your bank, so you can just like pay a fee to just instantly retrieve them from Watson, maybe from another owl or something. I don't fucking know, but there's some
Dude,
idea.
I'm
with that that sounds
really
cool.
digging this. I love it. And I think it should be like if hunting okay, hear me out. What if owls were like random spawns like implings? Okay?
Okay.
And so you would have to have the hunter level to get them. And there would be tiers of owls, but every owl could do this like transport of clues of any type of clue, but the higher the clue was, the chances are that in the delivery process it's destroyed.
I would. Oh my god, I'd be so.
Dude,
pissed.
wouldn't I think that'd be sick? Like especially if you got like a shitty owl,
Yeah,
and then you like get a master cat,
There's got to be
master
an owl
clue or
that's 100%,
something like that.
though. If there's not an owl that's 100%, I'm
Sure,
gonna be just
yeah.
rage quitting. Like I
Sure.
throw an elite in there, like oh my you bastard.
But it would what I think would be cool is if you could like it would be like they would be prized possessions. You know, like a freaking lucky impling.
So sort of,
you know?
or imagine like it's sort of like a Pokemon. You know how there's like the rare Pokemon. I'm not
Yeah,
super into the Pokemon
sure.
universe, but imagine you just get one that's like absolutely incredibly rare that you somehow got, and now you have this prestigious owl that has like a super high 99.9% success rate of deliveries.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and if it's specifically just based around clue scrolls, like there would be the people that kind of like, and maybe you could like carry them on your fucking shoulder or something. I don't know.
Like a shoulder, dude. That's genius. Like a shoulder parrot.
Except
shoulder
owls
owl.
are huge. It would look very, very misproportionate if
It would be
they made
terrifying,
it.
especially when they do like a 360 head spin. Yeah.
Yeah, I do really like the prestigious. Like I think one of the allures to the Iron Man content is like, yo, I earned this. I worked for this.
Yep.
And so I would like to see content that was like you have to earn it. You can't buy it. Like the thing with lucky implings, you can't buy a lucky impling. Nobody, you just
Yep.
like you can buy somebody to scout it for you, which is fine, but a normal account can't buy them. And I think there's some allure to the fact that like, hey, what if lucky implings had a 1 in 100 chance of dropping a freaking lucky impling pet? Like that shit would be cool.
Oh yeah. I wonder if they could do. See, this is a problem because I think everybody deep down really enjoys the dopamine rush of seeing a lucky imp and being able to catch it, or seeing a dragon imp
Hell
being
yeah.
able to catch it. The lower tiers not so much, but dragon and lucky are just exciting, and I really wish. So listen, I had talked to who was it? Maybe it was Molgoat Kirby. I can't exactly. Maybe it was Lake. I can't remember, but it was a recent guest that I had on where I think it was Lake actually. This idea of getting potentially a reward. So you know how, in raids, like raids 1, they have those like or whatever they call, like those ancient relics where you just get an XP lamp, and TOA has those caches of runes where you just open them, you get a random amount of runes. Like those are kind of exciting because it's just like ooh, like
Yes.
I got, or for example, an Unsired, something like that.
Yes.
Where
By the way, make those bankable.
Yes, I agree with that.
Damn it.
Um,
I gotta add the damn it.
so what would be cool is this impling sort of teleport sphere that teleports you to this instanced area where there are just hundreds of dragon implings and lucky implings just everywhere. Maybe even a new type of impling that can only be found there. And what you do is you smash this teleport crystal, and it's a very rare teleport crystal you get, which is basically like a purple, like a unique from a raid. And so you get this totally untradeable, can't trade, but you smash it open and you're teleported into this instance for like a minute. And you just run around with a net and you try to catch as many implings as possible. And so you just have this little minute timer. So just the dopamine is just on fire. You know what I mean? For like this minute session of just catch as many as you fucking can.
Dude, It
That
reminds me of like old school Mario when you hit those coin worlds.
Oh yeah.
You'd like
Oh
go down
yeah.
the thing and it was like nothing but fucking
Exactly.
coins.
Dude.
And you're like, oh God, I gotta get them all.
Oh yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about. This little
Yeah.
mini game, this little like, I played Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Sunshine, incredible because you get those little like
Okay, yep.
dark Mario where you have to pass that little thing and you're trying to get all the red coins and stuff. Something like that just sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Get
I
all
like,
the dopamine you can from the game and just condense it into 1 minute long session. Oh, that'd be fun.
There is I do like the idea of having some sort of as long as it's rare enough. Like one thing that I was talking about on stream is so in League, I'm going to reference League a couple times. I used to play it a lot, but I don't really play it anymore at all. All I play is RuneScape. But there was a couple ideas that they come out with that I think are really unique, and that's like game rotation modes. And what I think would be really good for the RuneScape mini game world, or really just anything, is if once a month they added something that's not super broken, but it kind of like highlights something in the game to encourage people to do that thing. One of the ideas I had was like, say if the gauntlet was targeted for that month, that in this month, when you're doing the gauntlet or the corrupted gauntlet, every single time you kill one of the tier 1 monsters, you have like a 1 in 200 chance of it dropping like an armor piece instead of a weapon frame. So like it would save you an ass load of time. It would still be stupid rare, but it would just be cool to see the people that were like, oh my gosh, like I was doing a frickin' CG and I killed a rat and I got the leg piece drop. So now I don't have to chop, one tree and one this, like just little things. And then it's gone a month later, like then it's gone. Right. And then we do something like Castle Wars, I don't know. I fucking hate Castle Wars and that's a whole nother topic, but I think it's like the worst. I hate it.
Yeah, that's just it's a very old piece of content. It's very controversial to even change Castle Wars, but they could really make something like Castle Wars. I think they were even talking about it, this idea of faction wars where there's like 3 factions that are facing each other, just like a mini game 20-minute little session of just building a little base sort of and then attacking, and I don't know.
My thing is just like that. Anything that's like a permanent like time, like you have to do this a much amount of time, that where it's a battle between 2 people is detriment, because if you go to Castle Wars and the other team just completely smokes you, like who's going to stick around for the next 17 minutes when the game has been chosen already? Like nobody wants to do that. So either time limit or point cap. That right there would make Castle Wars great for me.
Yep.
Like, let me fight somebody, best of 3. All right, you guys got it, and you did it in a minute. Great. Or we have like a really intense battle, and it lasts 10 minutes. Like, to me, that doesn't matter. Like, I hate being forced. Oh, hey, it's 10-0, and I have to sit here for the next 15 minutes. So that's like my biggest problem with Castle Wars.
I do like your idea, something of like a monthly little session that kind of goes to preferably more of a dead piece of content, like you said, like
sure, yeah,
something. And just really incentivizing it in some sort of way. That does sound exciting. I really want... I don't know. I don't know what it really takes, because most mini games eventually just get abused because it's just you want to complete the collection log for it. So what's the absolute fastest way to abuse this? Just get it over with.
Agreed. Yeah.
Those sort of high stakes sort of things where you're kind of putting money on the line. I know LMS used to have its high stakes. I think they still do. I don't know if anyone really does it anymore, but something like a high stakes Castle War. So not everyone needs to do it, but people that are really into a sort of high stakes thing where you have like a dedicated team, there is so much potential for content creation based on a similar idea to Castle Wars. I don't think Castle Wars itself is it's too clunky. Like there's too much wrong with it, I think. But if you were to make a faction wars or something like that and really start putting energy and effort and just work into designing a perfect balanced piece of like PvP /PVM /skilling piece of content where you really have teams trying to win, not just being like, hey guys, let's all work together and speed this shit up so we can all get our collection logs done. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I
there needs
agree
to be some
completely.
competition. Yeah, I don't
There'd
know.
have to be some sort of balance in order to acquire that, or even if there was like a legitimate like PvP system, like 2v2s, 3v3s, and 5v5s, to where people, and it was just based on rankings. I mean, I guess they kind of did that. I don't know, and it didn't really turn out to be the greatest. But something that I think would be a good one for them to target if they were to like upgrade or update anything would be pest control. It's so widely used to this day still. And I think if they were to incorporate more skills into pest control, and then again, use that like that RNG basis thing of like, say you kill a brawler and it drops, like there's like a 1 in 500 chance, which is quite rare to have, in a pest control match. But say there's a 1 in 500 where it literally doubles your strength level for the remainder of the pest control match.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like it would just like little perks like that, like bring nightmare zone buffs, like throw those into frickin' pest control, but just make it on like drop rates of monsters, something like those shifters, giving you a little hotkey to let you zip around the map. Like it's not going to do anything. It's not going to break the game. But if you're just like, whatever you want to do, or say now you have the freaking unlimited spec energy and you get that for a minute during a pest control thing.
Yep.
Or you kill one and then there's like a little 3x3 square that it's just constantly rapidly healing anything that's in there. That's like an ally to you. Just stuff that would make it unique. Or you could even add like super busted material, but as long as it's crazy rare, it would just be exciting in its own right. For people to go like, oh my gosh, like we killed a guy and the brawler dropped the rally the forces thing, and 4 pest control like void knights showed up and started helping us out. And it was follow the player around, and whatever I attacked, they attacked.
Or it just gives like a global increase of damage, so everybody in the match is now hitting.
Yeah.
More 50%.
Yeah,
more.
dude. Like, and it's like the rarest ones, like 1 in 1,000, like something you just don't really see. You barely see it every match.
Or you just get one that's like a tactical nuke, but in a good way, so it just instantly finishes the round. You get double tickets or whatever.
Yo, yeah. Like, but just as long as it's stupid rare,
yeah,
like that's cool. One every 5,000 like monsters you kill, like. You just go in and it's over in 30 seconds, and
it announces, so like it announces who the player is, so everyone's just cheering them like, thank God.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's just like exactly, man. I mean, and what harm would it do? You could still have it, and then maybe there's one for the monsters. If they kill a bunch of players, they get buffed. I don't know, maybe make it crazy, or add like an insanity boat that you just get sent out and like shit's wild. Who knows?
Yeah. Dude, I get excited about this idea of maybe even playing as, I don't know, I've thought about this idea of like 2-side match similar to a Castle Wars, except one group is like, I don't want to even say zombies because it's just so corny, but like zombies versus like the humans, And so you go into somewhat like a Castle Wars lobby where you're just randomly chosen on a side, or you could have custom matches, but you have like zombies that attack really fast but don't have any weapons and don't have bows and stuff. They just can run like, I don't know, 3 tiles every tick instead of 2. And they're just super fast. And they just like start destroying you. It sort of reminds me of, what is it? Is it Valorant or something? Or no, it's not Valorant. It's Apex Legends, I think. There's like a mode where there's like zombies. I don't play those games. I played RuneScape too much to even experience it. But I've seen
I'm in the
these
same
things
boat.
where people are zombies and they have like these crazy abilities, but then you also have the humans which have, they can build stuff and they can do other things. Something like that would just be incredibly fun. But there's
using
gotta
like
be that competition, which I just don't know the ins and outs of really creating that sense of like, okay, we actually want to beat these guys. We don't want to just throw.
Sure.
We don't want to just throw just to get our collection logs,
Right. Well, what about something along the lines of like our own like Among Us, where you have like imposters,
Yeah.
and then like we all go in and just like the imposters have the ability to just like literally one shot anybody.
Yep.
And then but then they get like transformed, and then like instead of like a zombie versus humans, it's like it's all humans, but there's like one guy that, or you know what? I actually thought this after watching the Han Annie event, the for suicide prevention, which by the way is like one of my favorite videos ever, dude. I had so much fun with that competition, like it was a blast. But there was a moment in that video where the like everybody turns on me and starts to attack, but since I had smuggled items over the last like 12 hours, I was like a freaking juggernaut and nobody could kill me. And it took like a horde of people, like 15 people to take me down. And I thought this would be fun. Like in a game mode, maybe a PvP arena style where that's what it is. Like you have somebody that is literally, you just make them twice the size and all their stats are like doubled and they just go around freaking destroying people, but you have to work together as a team to kill the juggernaut, and then whoever gets the final blow becomes the juggernaut, and then you get points based on the individual, like your time allotted as the juggernaut, right?
Yeah.
So like the longer you're a juggernaut, the better, but maybe your position is always revealed. Stuff like that, to where it's like you only gain points if you are the one who is the juggernaut, which then would provide, maybe it would eliminate that issue you're talking about where like you just can't bum rush it, because then it's on the one person like, hey, I want to selfishly be the juggernaut because I'm the only one getting points right now.
Yep.
Because then that creates that tension of competition.
Yep.
And then everybody else can just, they have to kill you. And then once somebody else, boom, they become this like juggernaut or whatever. And then there's some sort of PvP reward or cosmetic weapon upgrades or something like that.
See, I'm never sure exactly how. Well, I know elo systems are kind of difficult to manage, but I really wish LMS, for example, had an elo system where truly you are matched up against players of your own skill level, and the better you do, you're just going to get more elo, not just like you just finish a game and you just get elo like it is right now, where just just keeps going on indefinitely. But truly, I wish there was a way to kind of match make a little bit better. But it also just depends on people's involvement. I feel like, well, I know there are a lot of people that do LMS. It never really looks like games are too full in the lobby, but there are multiple games going on at once. So there are a couple hundred players on at a time generally. But they need to. That competition, I really do crave it. Some sort of system where it's maybe PVM and a little bit of PvP involvement, and really matchmaking is like their top priority of just keeping players around the same skill level playing together. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I would love something like that. I don't know how you would measure something. Dude, have you ever done a podcast with like a game dev? Yeah, you have.
Yeah, multiple.
Yeah. Dang, did you? Yeah, I would love to. I would love to hear like the technical aspect,
dude. If you want to catch up on some of those like old ancient ones, Mod Arcane, Mod Husky, Mod Elena, like just incredible conversations of like game ideation and stuff. I highly recommend those even to the audience listening.
Yeah, did you ever do one with Mod Kieran?
Not yet.
No?
Yeah, not yet.
I don't know why, dude, but for some reason, I just love that dude's vibe.
That dude's amazing.
I've never talked to him
all the time.
I've never, I think maybe I've tagged him in like one or two Twitter posts. I've talked to other mods. There's a lot of mods that I think are incredible people. Freaking Mod Goblin, Mod Aiza. But for some reason, I've just always thought Kieran was like such a cool freaking dude. And so I would love to hear his brain on like what is capable, or obviously there's Mod Ash, but
No,
So
Mod Kieran and Mod. I mean, there's a lot of J mods I still want to get on. Mod Kieran, I just got to give him an extra shout out. I know you just did, but truly super aware of what the game needs, super creative with his own ideas, always willing to hear out other people's ideas, never gets dogmatic about, what should be in the game. And he's just a brilliant game dev. And on top of that, just a fantastic person, always radiating, just always smiling.
Dude, I just love it, man. I love his
beast.
vibe. I love everything about him.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend. I also got to give a huge shout out to Mod Bruno. I think he's one of the most underrated J mods we have. Just like total fucking legend, and so humble too. Like, you don't really hear much of him because he just does his part, and like he doesn't need to be flashy toward anything. Like, he's just doing a fantastic job. So big shout out to Mod Bruno.
Yeah.
King.
So I would say probably out of all the mods, like the one I'm closest with is Mod Goblin. We've talked a lot. He's a musician, and that guy's a freaking monster on the guitar. I freaking love everything he does musically. But Mod Aiza just recently came into chat. And it was actually, I said the line here, but I said I want more surprises. I was reading one of the later updates, like the Wednesday, what is it called? The poll. What are they called? The game updates or their blogs. The blogs. Yeah. I was reading one on stream, and we read them every once in a while. And I had mentioned that I was like, I want more power in the JMod's hands, because I feel like they have great intentions. They understand the community. And then I said, I want more surprises. And then Mod Aiza's first chat in my stream is surprise. Like, he was there listening to me, and I see him, and like my heart sinks, and I'm like, oh gosh, like you're the guy, like you wrote this. And but then like I think he's a super good guy. I think the game devs of our game, like, you just don't see this interaction, and so many people take it for granted.
Yep.
Because they don't like the fact that you even can communicate to complain. Like, no other game devs give a shit. I mean, they do, they might like care about their game, but like,
they don't got time to deal with the community in most games.
Yeah.
No, and just the fact that like I've had I don't know, I think seven J mods on the cast right now, and every single time I remember the first J mod I got on Mod Arcane, I got really nervous because I'm like, this feels strange for just a random player that just randomly started a crappy podcast at the time to just be like, hey, you want to talk for like 3.5 hours randomly on your day off, or but there's every single J mod I've asked has been incredibly willing and super excited to come on and just talk. Cool. And it's just like, wow, you don't expect it. At least I didn't. And it's been like incredibly like humbling, and just being like, I don't know, they really do care about the game. They care about the community, and they want the game to thrive. They're not just there for money.
And just I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a pretty awesome thing that we're involved in.
Yeah.
So as people go through their rage settings and thinking that everything's like, this game's falling to shit, well, that it wouldn't be. And it can't be if we're still hiring people, if we're still doing this, like there's still things that are going on. And for me, dude, I cringe so much at the people that like, dude, I literally laugh. I do my best, like, to not say derogatory things to people, because I don't know what they're going through. And that, like, in real life or in RuneScape, they're frustrated about something. I don't know. And so I just avoid saying anything negative. But one thing that just is a freaking cringe fest for me is like, RuneScape will post anything, literally anything. It could be like, hey, I heard that it was the, Independence Day for America. Like, hey, good job, whatever. And there'd be one guy that's like, fix the servers. And I'm like, bro, like, in all caps, like in the bottom, like, he's just like, bring back PvP. And I'm like, bro, nobody hears you. Nobody, like, stop it, dude. Or they'll go live and somebody's like, when do we get this update? And I'm like, dude, just enjoy what they have to say.
Yeah.
Like, just sit back it'll be okay. You know, just like it'll be fine. This too shall pass. You know,
it's this idea of like feeling like you're not heard. And so I do understand where people come from, where there's issues where they've just been in the game for so long, and the only thing they think is appropriate at any time is to keep yelling it until it's finally fixed. Which fair point that it hasn't been really addressed as much as people want it to be addressed and fixed.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, like you say, like sometimes you just got to relax and just realize like this stuff takes a lot of time. And
yeah. And my thing as well, like I don't ever complain about like servers or the lag. I don't have enough information. I don't know enough about like server structure to even complain. I don't know what's going on. You know, people are like, well, all they got to do is just port more money. You have no idea. Like, you don't run a company. You don't like they're just out for money. They're doing that. You're literally just saying words. You have no factual evidence to provide any sort of support for what you're saying. Yet you're very, very passionate about it, which I admire, but also you're kind of looking dumb.
Yeah, no, it's people that like put like all caps in their names, and they'll just like have their own agenda in their Twitter name. Like their name on Twitter is now what they want in the game, and it's usually all cap. I'm like, holy shit, this is just
Poonslayer 69, bring back Bounty Hunter. Like, okay.
Okay, so we got a couple people that have some good topics. I first want to cover Madam Mages. She says, "You are simply the best." We've already covered this next one. She asked, "Do you actually eat radishes?"
Oh gosh.
And then she asked, and then two more. What are your biggest goals for next year? And what was your favorite part about TwitchCon?
Oh, meeting people, hands down, and also accidentally being distributed the special access badge is my favorite part of TwitchCon. I didn't talk much about it just because, like, but when I went to TwitchCon. I met I guess I'll give you two. One of the horrifying thing for me at TwitchCon was when I my first moment there, they wouldn't let me in unless I could prove that I didn't have COVID. And I didn't have any paperwork or anything like that. And I tried to explain to them, they're like, "You didn't get a paper when you got vaxxed?" And I was like, "Listen, like any paperwork that I had about any sort of anything, I lost in a fire." Okay. I don't have that stuff, but I did just get tested before I came here, but I didn't have the paperwork on me. And it was a Sunday. So like trying to get a hold of a doctor on a Sunday is pretty damn hard. So my doctor is a personal friend of mine. So I call him and I'm talking with him, and he's like walking me through the process of trying to find this information online. And the only person I had met at this time was Qneeks, right? Qneeks stayed with me at the Airbnb. And but at this time he had left. And I'm on the phone, and I hear the words Radish, and my heart sinks because I don't know who it is yet, but I know that I can't talk to them. Because I'm on the phone with my doctor on a Sunday, and he already wasn't like too stoked that he's like trying to help me out, and he doesn't even really know like how to find this information online without his like work computer and stuff. So like I couldn't have the opportunity to talk. I turn around, it's freaking Tasty, Whale, Prison Joe, and maybe Krylax or somebody, I don't know. And they're like, "Radish." Oh, it's T Papa. They're like, "Radish." And I literally like put the phone to my chest and I wave them off like I'm the fucking king of England. And I'm like, "Sorry, this is a really important phone call." And then they just like walk away, and I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna throw up."
The worst first impression ever.
The worst, dude. Literally
like,
the
fuck
worst.
You guys, I don't. Oh God.
I can't be bothered with you. I'm sorry. I'm picking out my newest Lambo color. Like it was just, I just felt like mortified.
Yeah.
And so that was like my worst experience. But by the way, they gave me shit about it when I met them later that day.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then, like, my favorite thing is, like, when I did meet up with them, Tasty's like, Radish, what is that on your badge? And I was like, what's what? And he's like, that, like, insignia thing by your name. And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what it is. And he's like, I've never seen that. Like, nobody else has that in here. Like, what is it? So the next day, I tried asking some of the employees and none of them knew. And then eventually a guy brought me to, like, one of the, like, managers of the TwitchCon, and he says, oh, that's the special access badge. Like, you don't have to wait in lines and you can go anywhere.
Oh shit.
And I thought, what the fuck? But what I said was, oh, okay, that makes sense. It didn't make sense to me, but I didn't want him to take it away. And so I used that shit to my advantage. Oh my gosh. And I mean, it was the defining factor of why I got so much out of TwitchCon. And one of the things, Bodie, I reached out to him on Twitter and I was like, dude, I'd love to meet you, man. And this just shows you the guy's character. He says, I'm really busy at TwitchCon. I'd love to meet you up. I'll be walking around, blah, 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 blah. He said, worst case scenario, I do have a meet and greet at 4. And so what that says to me when he says worst case scenario is he viewed our relationship more cordial than it was like fan to, you know, like he doesn't know me, like I'm a nobody. Mm-hmm. Like he was like, yo, I'd love to meet you. I'm very busy. Worst case scenario, you can stand in line to meet me. Right. And so I just thought that was really respectful that he had really painted out the like, hey, I don't want to make you wait in line. But to me, I was like, this is the best case scenario. What do you mean worst case scenario? I know where you'll be at and I don't have to wait in line. Sign me up. And so I literally did everything I wanted to do at 3:55. I walked up, I flashed my badge. They put me at the very front of the Bodie line. And there was like a freaking massive line of people waiting to see all these content creators. And I was like, dude, I know exactly where you're going to be at 4. I'm not even going to be worried about finding you. It's just like a walk up there. Dude, it was so sick, man. That was like amazing. And that's why I got to meet Miss Madam Mage and Kemp Q and Nine Rain. Like they were in this Kappa Cabana thing. And there was like a 45-minute line to get in there. I just freaking walked in. And like the guy at the front was like, hey, you got to get to the back of the line. And I just literally showed him my badge. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. And I'm like, oh, he apologized. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea, but they gave it to me and I used it. So
that's amazing. I'm excited for a future potential Rune Fest or the next.
Oh, I want that so bad.
I'm definitely going. I hear the stories and it just sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. Let me just say this then. At the next Rune Fest, I want Jagex to reach out to me to perform music. Let me be like a luthier in the corner. I don't give a shit. I just want to be like, I want that. I want that so bad to just sit, play my guitar, and just be like, just background noise.
Yeah.
During a Rune Fest, but like specifically for like Jagex. Like I'm just here to just please the ears as people walk by, and people can listen if they want to, and
like
whatever and whatnot. Bard. Yeah, that I would love that. So. J-Mods, if you're listening, make it happen, please. I love you.
Hell yeah. All right. What are your biggest goals for next year?
I want to be the world record holder for the fastest in-game time maxing of a hardcore Iron Man.
For real?
I do, yeah. And I'm in the process of doing it right now while we're talking.
And you think you can max in a year?
Oh, of course.
So what are you at right now on your... Or wait, you've already started it, right?
I have. My account is Juiced Radish, and we're creating our own, like, it's the OSRS guide that I want to, like, we're literally figuring out if this is the best method. A lot of people say, no, you're wrong. I'm okay with that. You know, prove me wrong. And you know, if you max before me, then obviously you're right. Your method's better. Because what I think some of the best things about competition is it pushes the limit of what people think is possible. And so right now I'm only total level of 1022, But I am at 5 days played time. But it's not really about total levels right now. There's just stuff that you just have to pretty much do on a hardcore. But what I think is more valuable, and this is just pure theory crafting, that people don't really contribute a lot to, is passive XP during stuff and multi-training skills. So like the passive construction experience during Wintertod, I think is way more valuable than people give it credit to. I also think the passive construction experience during Temporos is extremely valuable. Even like the wood cutting and stuff. So there's a lot of like different ways. Like we did the math, and so many people get their graceful outfits, and like I have math to prove that getting graceful is literally like pointless until around level 90. So, and everybody, I mean, if people listen to that, they're going to like throw a bitch fit and say I'm wrong, but I'm not. I have the math for it. So, and that's really only in the case that you know exactly what you're doing. You're going from point A to point B, you know. Now, for an account that's not efficient, Graceful is extremely efficient because you're running all over the place willy-nilly, and you need to save your run energy. But for me, I know my next destination, and I don't even run out of run energy by the time I get there. So, but yeah, so I do think that I'll be able to max in a year, and if I die, I'll redo it because I have a goal, and nothing really stops me from my goals. So.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
QNeeks asks, how the fuck do you wake up every day at like 4 a.m.? By the way, I gotta say, I did watch the Based After Dark episode where QNeeks literally said he got back from just a crazy fucking night, and then he gets back to the apartment which you were staying at, and you're up with your coffee at 4 a.m. like, want some coffee?
Yeah.
And he's like fucking trying to go get some sleep. He just had the craziest night ever.
Dude, yeah, dude. It was so funny. He comes in and he's like, are you getting up or going to bed? And I was like, bro, I've been up for like an hour and a half, man.
God.
Oh,
What is
yeah.
your daily like routine? Do you think you wake up relatively at that time, or is that just a special
absolutely.
occasion because of TwitchCon?
Nope. Every day.
So when do you go to sleep?
And 8 maybe. Damn. Sometimes 7:30. And really, I mean, a lot of people, they have their opinions and stuff, but one of my greatest mentors in life told me success begins before 5. And so I've just taken that to heart, and it might not play with everybody's situation. Everybody wants to whine and cry when I say that. If you're a third shift worker, obviously, blah, 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 it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't mean that to you. But for me, in my life, in my situation, that's what I believe. And so I'm working hours before people are thinking. And so I just believe that that's where my success begins. And I go to bed with my kids, like when they go to bed, and I'm up hours before them, and that's just my routine. I do it all the time.
That's cool.
I also don't use alarms. I'm very, very adamant about never using an alarm.
Do you have any sort of device that sort of helps you wake up, or is it because there's no sun, right? Like, so is it just natural body clock?
Yep. And there's been like 4 different occasions where my wife has woken me up and she's like, are you dead? Because it would be like 9 and she'll wake me up and I'm like, nope, my body needed rest. Let's go. The latest I've ever woke up, like just because my body needed rest, it was 11 a.m. And I was like, huh, that's weird. But then I just like was recharged and back to normal.
Yep.
So I just listen to my body, and I think that's really, really important.
That's cool.
Yeah. So no assisted waking up.
What about favorite meal? So QNeeks is asking favorite meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but I want to get a little bit more specific. So if you were to have one meal as sushi. Like just okay, let's just imagine you've not eaten for 2 days straight, and you get to choose just the perfection of just a perfect meal. What is it?
Sushi.
Just unlimited sushi, just like
Unlimited
all varieties,
sushi.
all varieties.
It's fantastic. It
Okay,
is.
well, you're literally just me then. So, yeah.
Dude, bro, you like sushi?
I am obsessed. Anything seafood.
Oh my.
Anything
Oh
seafood.
yes.
And sushi is just the greatest because it's just like these bite-sized
Yep.
perfection little
It's
things.
fresh. It's great, and I'm talking like sushi, good stuff.
Yes.
Like I've spent literally years of my life learning how to make sushi, and like if I were to teach anybody, it's not about the ingredients because a lot of the ingredients you use most of the time, if you have like sashimi or like which is just like raw fish, like you don't really have to prepare it. Like it's good to know how to cut it. But sometimes like the stuff that you use is just like raw in the package. The best thing about sushi is knowing how to make rice. That is like if you don't know how to make rice, clean rice, do all that stuff, then your sushi's going to taste like shit. But yeah, sushi any day, every day, I will eat sushi. I
Dude,
love it.
there's a poke bowl place here that makes like sushi burritos.
Yes.
It's sushi as well, sushi burritos and just the bowls.
Yep. I've
Dude.
had it. I've had it before. I love it.
Poke bowls are like the greatest things ever because it's more food than the sushi, so that's a plus already. Because sometimes at sushi, I'll get like 3 rolls, and I'll still just be like, I wish I had like 2 more rolls.
Oh yeah.
But like those poke bowls, man, like those are just so filling that you just choose all the ingredients you want, and oh my god, it's just so good, so
Dude,
good.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I'll have to take you out to sushi sometimes if we ever meet up anywhere.
Oh hell yeah,
Like
I'm so
that'll
down.
be the place.
So down. All right, elaborate to the audience how you recognize game ticks, especially for solo chambers.
Okay, so I was a musician for a long period of time, and I'd play on stage, and in order to like play syncopated with people, you either play with them for a while and just learn it by habit, or you use like an in-ear metronome. And for me, the in-ear metronome is the easiest method. However, like RuneScape doesn't have a viable metronome system that anybody on Twitch would appreciate. Like everybody hates it. If you use an audible tick, like people think that it's like nails on a chalkboard and they can't stay in the stream. And I use a visual metronome that siphons through 4 different colors, and everything that I do in the game is associated with one of those colors. Specifically what Qnix is talking about is the Chamber of Xeric. And during that, I found out that if you have a visual 4-tick like cycle of colors, from the moment you walk into the room, I know what color Olm's head will turn because it's all indicated and planned out for you, because everything in the Chambers of Xeric fight can be broken down into 4 ticks. But for me, I've just like made this method that it makes it brain dead monkey status. To where I'll say, okay, well, we're on the green tick cycle. So if I mess up at all, I know you just get to this square on the map, and as soon as it's green, you just go to the other side and you're back in the tick. You're back in the cycle. It's instantaneous every single time. It's a no-brainer. It's foolproof. And I love it. And so I started doing that, and I was running solo chambers, and it became like a joke. It was so easy. Now this only works so far from what I've gathered. I've never done there's like the 4-0 method for mage, or 3-0 method for mage. And then there is a
4-1. Or
it's the one you never take damage. Like either way.
That's 4-0, yeah.
So, but it wouldn't be, it's like 1-0.
Oh, you're doing the one where you just miss ticks and you're just going back and forth, just hitting once?
Yeah, with like an Elder Maul or
Yeah,
something.
okay, yeah, that's 1 to 0.
So now the reason I do that method is because I was doing it on an Iron Man and I just happened to get the Elder Maul at like 54 combat. So like that was just the best weapon I had. So I thought like it's kind of pointless just to stand there and take hits. So I just naturally like learned that you could do that with the help of one of my viewers named I Make Bong for You. But so from then on, I just keep the color scheme all the time. Everything that I do, I'm always having this color on my screen. It really goes undetectable by a lot of people. Every once in a while, people are like, "Why are there like colors going on your screen?" It helped me immensely with the Inferno. Like I'll know. So people are like, "Hey, you got to wait until he bends his knee just a little bit, and then when he stands up, he's gonna fire a missile. He'll look to the left, and that's when you prayer flick." And I'm like, "Bro, I can't. What? No, I'm not gonna listen to that shit." And so like, I'll see a ranger, and I'll know, oh, okay, he's on the blue tick cycle. So as long as my color before blue is red, so I was like, okay, if I'm praying range on red, I can turn it off on blue. And we call it the Fisher Price method. It's like children play toys. Is one of my buddies. He just calls it the Fisher Price method because it's just red, white, green, blue. That's it, and it siphons through those colors. And then you just learn a lot. You learn a lot when you're constantly seeing the ticks instead of hearing it. And then I just started realizing there's so much that you can do inside of these tick manipulations. And people are like, I mean, even during the speed run competition for maxing, people are saying like you can't use regular logs to tick manipulate. Well, I found out that's not true. You totally can. You just like, I'm going to say it in my terms. You just need to be 2 colors away from a tree. You start your fletching, and then by the time you get 2 colors ahead, so like whatever color you start on, it's going to start that 4-tick action while you're walking, and then you'll eventually get to the tree, and the first color or first tick when you get to that tree is an option, or it allows you to potentially chop that tree. So like if you're running around and doing a lot of stuff, you can do a lot while you're walking, and you never like, you can light fires and never like miss a tick. You just walk the whole way. You just drop a fire and you just keep going. But you have to be able to balance it with different tick cycles, and I just use colors. So
love it. I love the innovation, just whatever works for a certain person. I eventually just let it. I mean, because I've had a musical background, not as intense as like you or Joran or any of the other people, but like it really just is a matter of time and just that kind of feeling. You start getting that intuition of like, okay, like this is going on, and again, it's just all like this time and just really being aware of what's happening. And it all started with me for just 1 tick flicking, just getting that timing down. Now it's like, dude, I will be tapping my foot. If I'm doing some sort of content, I am literally tapping my foot the entire time I'm playing. It's just
every 0.6 seconds.
Yeah. It's just, wow. I mean, I can be lying in my bed, not even logged in, and I could be very, very precise and accurate with how long 0.6 seconds is. I can just, I would probably miss a couple. I'd probably be a little bit off if I did it for a full minute. I'd probably be like half a second off by the end. I got it fucking nailed. So,
yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so I want to cover a few of the names that just brought up something that we've already sort of covered. A lot of these are just sort of like shout outs. So big shout out to Steps. Says one of the most wholesome people in the community. Can't wait for this one. Big shout out to, let's see, Friend Zones. Again, just the whole thing about positivity and smiles and stuff. Also, big shout out to Zuo. Just says dub. Big dub.
Yeah.
Polygonuts? What? I'm confused. I don't know how to say that name. I do not know how to say that. I swear to God, I probably butchered that. Again, what we were just talking about, this sort of depth of game knowledge and the fact that you're going for max efficiency, hardcore Iron Man maxing. I think it's cool. Whale, big fan, he says.
Dude, I love that guy. He's so freaking cool.
Whale's fucking awesome.
Cool.
My hands don't work. /Cam says, thank
Hell
you
yeah.
for being you and for sharing your life with the world, Radish. My only question for you, again, it goes back to the positivity, which we've talked about. Does being so positive and patient take active thought throughout the day, or is it just a natural thing? You can answer that, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's very intentional. Because there's times where I get really fucking mad, and I have to remind myself, because I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. And so, yeah, it takes active thought. Absolutely. But there are like, you get to the point where there's, you start to build that like secondhand nature, or, where it's just like, oh, okay, this feels more comfortable. I know my way out of a situation like this because I'm constantly reminding myself, to look at life in a different aspect or through a different filter.
Awesome. He also says, love you tons. Can't wait for the cast. And Ellie, I love you. Radish Boy vids.
Ellie DD.
Ellie DD. Yep.
Oh, I freaking love that girl. She's got
she's
the
very
voice.
positive.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, another musically talented creator in the OSRS community as well.
Yeah, she gives me freaking goosebumps. She's so good. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
No, Radish Boy. First of all, I'm surprised with, I don't know, just these casts just fly so fast. Like, we've been talking for nearly 3.5 hours, which is just incredible. But
Dang, man.
I just got to say, I've absolutely loved our afternoon together.
Yeah, man.
I want to finish this off with you shouting out 3 people from the community. So anybody from the community and a reason why, I guess. So
yeah,
go for
and
it.
so I have thought about this because you asked it in the beginning, and I think respectfully, I need to bring light to 3 people that are the reason that I'm streaming. There's been a lot of people that have blessed me throughout my journey of streaming, but it would probably not be like, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Vivisk, she's not even like really in my circle anymore. I used to communicate with her almost every day. But she was the one that was like, you need to stream. This is crazy. Right. And so like that to me, like, it means something still to this day. I'll never forget her. Katarina, she is another lovely lady that was extremely, extremely supportive to my early streaming career. She's a PvP, just a fantastic human being. I met her at TwitchCon, and her and I's relationship goes way back. I respect her so much. And then Beggar is another one. Beggar official, just a lovely human being. Dude wears a panda hat. But he was like, he like found me when I was like a little baby and raided me one day with, I think, 84 people, and I about shit a brick. And he's been a friend for a long time. And I just, those are the 3 people. And I gotta say one more, Potato Heim. I gotta say 4. I'm sorry. But
yeah.
those people are like at the birthing conception, or which is the opposite of what I was trying to say. Like, at the birth of my stream, like, those are the people that motivated me, that showed like compassion and gave me advice and encouraged me. And again, like, obviously there's millions of people that have like helped me out, but those are the people, the reason that I'm here.
That's awesome. Radish Boy, absolutely loved our afternoon. Guys, down in the description, we will have Radish Boy's Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Is there any other links you'd like, Radish Boy?
Just OnlyFans, Family House.
OnlyFans, perfect. We got all those. Yeah, I mean, those are not to even be named. They'll just be down there. So
yeah, exactly, dude. And thank you so much, man, for this opportunity. It's really cool. Like, I've listened to a lot of your rambles and your theory crafts, and like, I love like listening to those stuff. I love just like putting like brain to paper, if you will, and to be involved in one, and to hash ideas back and forth, and you show support for some of my ideas is really, really humbling. It's really cool, man.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. Guys, if you want to support the Sae Bae cast, down in the description as well, with Radish Boy's links down there. Right below that, there is a Patreon link if you guys would like to support the cast. Pledge starts at $2 a month. You get your name on the title screen. You'll be directly supporting the cast and into the future. So feel free. And that's it for me. Radish Boy, any final thoughts?
Yes, final thoughts. Something I like to say on my streams a lot when we end it is I try to encourage somebody out there, just do something nice for somebody else. A lot of the times it's really easy to buy somebody a coffee. It could be less than $5 and it literally could change a life. So just think about doing something for somebody else today.
You're a legend. Radish Boy, thank you again very much. Guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.